Thank you, Ron. Mr. Gray, I want to go back in time a little bit and go over some things that you left out. In first grade, Colt was going to Statham Elementary School.
Yes, sir.
And y'all were living at the farm in Statham.
Yes, sir.
And Colt had an individualized education program, otherwise known as an IEP, in first grade, didn't he?
As far as I know, I wasn't involved as much as far as that type of knowledge of schooling. Debbie and Marcy were really engaged with what he was doing school-wise. So he was involved in first grade and something like that, but I couldn't tell you in detail what it was for.
Okay, and an IEP is tailored for each individual child's educational disability, correct?
As far as I know, that's.
But Colt's was actually for behavior, wasn't it?
I don't remember that.
He had a formalized behavior intervention plan.
I wasn't involved in the behavior plan.
Okay. Do you remember it saying that he hurts others, hits and kicks?
No, sir, I don't.
And you didn't know anything about him saying that the behavior occurs 2 to 3 times per day?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay. And that was in first grade?
It sounds like it was in first grade.
Okay. Do you remember Miss Lee, his first grade teacher? That name sound familiar?
I believe that was one of his teachers.
Okay. And you had to deal with Miss Lee about how y'all would handle his behavior at home?
Marcy typically dealt with school issues and the kids at that time, and in our marriage and in their age.
Okay. So let's go to second grade. He's still in Statham Elementary School, and his teacher that year was Lori Moore. You remember her?
I don't remember that name, no, sir.
Okay. Did you know that, do you remember that Lori Moore had behavior issues with Colt throughout second grade?
I don't. Again, I wasn't as involved as I later became with their schooling in their younger years.
So you don't think you were communicating with Lori Moore?
If I was, I can't tell you specifically what I was communicating with her about.
Okay. Do you remember that she sent an email or tried to communicate with Marcy 6 separate times about Colt's behavior?
Maybe to Marcy, but I don't recall that.
Okay. And you remember after she couldn't get in touch with Marcy, she started emailing you specifically, and she emailed you 13 times about Colt's behavior in second grade?
No, sir, I don't remember that.
And you don't remember the conversation on October 19th, 2017, where you'd say, "Hey, Miss Moore, I'm sorry I'm texting you late this afternoon," and you reference in there talking with Miss Lee last year, and y'all had a system of how you were going to handle Colt. You remember telling Miss Moore that?
If you have reference to that, then I did.
Okay.
I don't recall that, but no.
And so that was about, in her messages with you, she's talking about anger issues that Colt had, aggression to other students, in those 13 emails she was referring to you.
Yeah, it's so long ago, I couldn't tell you about any of those emails, to be honest.
Property destruction.
No, sir.
Okay. You don't remember any of that?
If you've got record of it, then it took place, but I don't recall the specific conversations.
Okay. So y'all are at the farm, and you left the farm when Colt was in third grade?
Third or fourth grade.
Third or fourth grade. Well, he withdrew from Statham on May 22nd, 2019, which would have been the end of his third grade year.
Okay, starting a fourth.
Okay. Now Marcy testified that y'all left Statham because you were having financial troubles. That's not what you said.
Right.
Which is it?
So it's a combination of both. Financial troubles, just not making as much money, but also a chance to possibly sell the farm, make a profit, and wanting to kind of have the lake life.
Okay. And so you move up to Hall County.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you live, he goes to White Sulphur Elementary School.
That's correct.
And you live there from August to December of 2019.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And why did you leave there?
So we left there. Initially, there was an argument between the landlord and Marcy. She was under the use of things that we've talked about during this trial. And we were promised several things in that home, including there was a downstairs leaser that we had asked to be moved out of the house. And that guy did not break his lease or remove anything from the property. So we kind of had an agreement in the beginning that wasn't met. So we started to look around and decide if this was the right house for us.
Oh, okay. So, and that would have been Jeremy Baker was your?
I think so.
Okay. And that was at 412, or excuse me, the house you were in was at 3208 Winterberry Lane?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. And isn't it true that he actually filed a dispossessory on you guys because y'all were $10,000 late in rent or behind in rent?
Right. So I found out the same way. Yep. I found out the same way I found out at Traditions. Marcy was the financial person in our marriage and household. I usually went to work, made the money, and she paid the bills.
Here's my problem. See, I asked you why you left,
Mhm.
and you gave me an answer
Yeah.
that didn't mention you being 3 months behind the rent and being kicked out.
Well,
you said you voluntarily left because you had a disagreement.
Well,
And now you're admitting that it was.
that was part of it.
Answer the question. Just make sure that when you ask the question, you finish his answer with you.
Sure.
Let me ask the question a little better.
Well,
When I first asked you why you left, why didn't you mention this?
I was trying to get to that before you cut me off.
I cut you off? I could have
So
sworn that you
what,
answered all
what I'm
this.
saying, when I found out we were actually late behind when I came home from work one day and all of our things were on the curb. Did not know at that point, as in traditions, that she was not paying the rent when she told me that she was.
Okay. And then you went to Forsyth County and lived there, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the dispository was filed against you on March 9th of 2020, evicting you from that house.
Correct.
Okay. But you didn't mention that in your direct.
Which part? The Forsyth?
Being kicked out of Forsyth, being evicted.
I didn't think you asked me that until right then.
I didn't ask you, but he was asking you what happened. And you said, well, we decided to go down to Fitzgerald because things were slow and we wanted to see the
Sure.
quiet life. And you made it sound like you chose to go down to Fitzgerald and leave Forsyth County, but never mentioned that you were evicted from Forsyth County.
Right. We decided to break the lease was the impression I had with Marcy.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not aware of us owing anybody anything from the Forsyth County home until
Okay.
right now.
So if Marcy, when she testified that you are evicted from these places, that's actually the truth.
It's hard to say what Marcy is telling the truth about or not telling the
Okay.
truth about.
Okay. So you moved to Fitzgerald in February, March-ish of 2020,
Mhm.
and Colton rolls at Ben Hill on March 4th of 2020,
Okay.
correct? And then COVID shut down right there, right?
Yes, sir.
Basically about the same time. So fourth grade was basically an academic non-event for Colton, wasn't it?
Somewhere in there, I think we were doing the online school program through Ben Hill, I believe.
Now, in fifth grade, Colt's still at Ben Hill Elementary School,
I think so, yes.
and that would have been the fall 20, spring 21 school year.
Okay.
Okay, and that was mostly virtual, wasn't it, because of COVID?
Correct.
Now, sixth grade, fall of 2021, Colt starts Ben Hill Middle School.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And on August 20th, he searches abuse, the word abuse,
Mhm.
and then a few hours later searches how to kill your dad.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what is happening in his life at this point where he's searching for abuse?
It's a very good question. The only search that I was made aware of until all of this started was how to kill your dad.
Okay. But abuse, that connotes emotional problems,
It can,
and it connotes he's trying to reach out, right?
I would suppose, but I didn't know about the abuse search.
Okay. And then he searches how to kill your dad.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Colt's 11 years old at this time,
That sounds about correct. Yes, sir.
and he's talking about homicide, violence, a lot of turmoil in this 11-year-old, isn't there?
Sounds like it based on the search.
Okay. Now, at that point, DeFax down in Ben Hill becomes involved with your family, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And a DeFax officer or caseworker comes out to your house. I think she testified, and you were in the carport and y'all spoke about things at that point.
Yes,
And you were actively moving back up to Jackson County.
So at that time, I had received a job offer and I had left Fitzgerald to take the job in Atlanta and was solo up here for a couple of months by myself.
Okay. Well, my question was, DeFax was involved with
Yeah.
your family at that time,
Mhm.
and you actually met a DeFax officer and talked to her about that.
I did.
Okay. And that would have been in October of 2021.
If that's what you have, yes, I don't know the exact dates.
Now, you move up to Jefferson around November 2021.
Correct.
Okay. And that's the Rice Creek Drive, Evan?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
Now, Colt's not enrolled in school there that semester, is he?
Not right off the bat, I don't believe.
Okay. So you leave in November, but you don't enroll in school.
I don't, like I said, I'm working day to day. She was always the insurance school enroller, things of that nature. That was just kind of the agreement we had.
Okay. So Christmas comes and goes. New Year's comes and goes. Kids aren't enrolled in school.
In seventh grade.
The October, November, or 2021 into New Year's of 2022. Kids are not enrolled in school.
Not yet.
Okay. In fact, we go through January, all of January, kids aren't enrolled in school. So it's been, what, 2.5 months since y'all left Fitzgerald?
Sounds like it.
Okay. Still not enrolled in school.
As far as I know now.
That's kind of a recurring theme with your family, isn't it?
You say so. Yes, sir.
Okay. So on February 1st of 2022, Colt is still not enrolled in school, and a DeFax referral is made on your family from Ben Hill.
In Ben Hill or in Jefferson?
Well, Ben Hill's the one that made the referral, but y'all are actually in Jefferson.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. You remember Sujette Giddens testifying about
Yeah,
that?
I remember her.
Okay. So it's a week later that he starts, on February 8th, he starts West Jackson Middle School. Remember that?
Yes,
So this is finishing out his 6th grade year.
correct.
Okay, so the beginning of 6th grade year at Ben Hill, he searches abuse and how to kill your dad. And then now he's starting a new school for the 2nd semester of 6th grade.
Okay.
And I think you testified on direct that he had no further problems in 6th grade.
Correct.
Okay. Now, do you remember that on March 10th of 2022, so about a month after he starts, he gets in-school suspension?
Yep, never heard that until the other day sitting here when it was discussed in the court.
That wasn't brought up in the bubble?
Wasn't brought up in the bubble. Had no idea he was suspended.
Okay. And it was for, let me pull that up for us. And it's 2 pages, go to the 2nd page. It goes through the bottom of it. All right, so this is one of those where it kind of goes from the bottom up. I think Mr. Green testified to this.
Mhm.
So this is going to be on March 10th. He drew swastikas, FU,
Yep.
Nazi, and Hitler on a school calculator.
Right. Never told of that
Okay.
by anybody in the school.
So this is the same school year about the how to kill your dad and abuse.
Correct. Which I didn't find out till months later that the searching took place with the how to kill your dad.
I mean, to you, does that look like a child that has a lot of anger issues?
I would think so, but when I found out about the how to kill your dad part of it, like I said, it was several months later. And the excuse that he gave me about that, I took him at his word, and he wasn't really lashing out at me or saying I did anything specifically wrong to him.
I was referring to this.
Oh, I didn't know anything about swastikas or suspension or any trouble he was actually having at this school.
Okay.
I think, if their parent was notified by email, her voicemail was full. So I wasn't on the voicemail or email, so I didn't even know this took place.
Let's go back to my question. This connotates a child with a lot of anger.
I don't know if this highlighted specifies anger.
He's not drawing Pokemon on the school calculator.
No, he's not.
He's saying F you.
Yep.
Okay. So what? He's 12 at this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, that's March 10th. That's his first month at school.
Okay.
19 days later, he gets in school suspension again. All right, so this is March 29th. Leaves the cafeteria without permission. Now, he was already serving silent lunch for something he did in class, and then he leaves silent lunch, I think is what Mr. Green testified to. So this is 2 weeks after, 19 days after the first one, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then 2 weeks after that, he gets his third in-school suspension on April 13th. And now he's going hands-on with another student. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's recap Colt's 6th grade year. He makes inquiries about murdering a parent. Correct?
Yes, sir.
He misses almost 4 months of school. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And then gets 3 in-school suspensions in less than 3 months for property damage, disobedience, and physical violence. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Does Colt seem to be, to you, a child that is out of control?
If I had direct knowledge of any of these, then I would say yes.
So you're saying he's doing this at school, but there's no manifestations of that at your house?
At our house, no.
Just a good kid.
I mean, is there a perfect kid? No. But as far as hands-on with any of us or destroying property, no.
All right, well, let's move on. Now, Colt's 12 at this point, correct?
I believe so.
Okay. Let's move to his 7th grade year. That was 6th grade. Now he's going to a new school. This is the fall of 22 into the spring of 23.
Jefferson Middle School. Yes,
Jefferson.
sir.
He's at Jefferson Middle. And I think you testified on direct that 7th grade, going well.
Started out really good.
Okay. When did it stop being really good?
About the time that, as far as Marcy's interaction and involvement with our family, took a turn for the worse, as I described. About the time she had a huge falling out with the neighbor.
That would have been around October.
Yep. And
What about September? Didn't Colt, right off the bat, when 7th grade started on September 22nd, deface 2 separate bathrooms at the school?
he did. I talked with him about that, and he said that he didn't, Yes.
Does that look like a child that's full of anger?
I don't know about anger, but destroying property. I see a child that's extremely disrespectful.
Well, it seems to me like he's lashing out. Would you agree with that?
At who?
That's a good question. So you were talking about Marcy. October with the landlord. DeFax got involved again then, didn't they?
They did. I think they got involved, as I stated, with the landlord calling me. I was working a double shift, day and nights kind of on a project, and she had apparently locked the kids out on Halloween night.
So I think the DeFax worker testified that they opened the case on November 2nd. Does that make sense?
It sounds timeline wise.
Okay. So we're talking 2 months after that bathroom incident.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Marcy, Jenny, and Coley, they go back down to Fitzgerald in Ben Hill County.
Correct.
And you and Colt stay up in Jefferson.
Correct. The choice was up to them, and Marcy had to leave the premises.
Okay.
So-
Now, you mentioned that you bought the Rock River Arms rifle for Christmas, and it's going to be that Christmas, correct? Indirect.
I don't know if that's when I bought the Rock River rifle.
Didn't you say indirect that you bought it for them for Christmas? You didn't give it to them at Christmas. It was after presents.
That was the Bushmaster 450.
That's a Bushmaster. What's the Rock River Arms rifle?
That is my rifle.
That's your rifle. Okay. Now, you said you gave it to him for Christmas because he was doing good in school.
Correct. I think I told Investigator Smith I was using it as a carrot for him to continue to make a strong effort.
So Christmas of 2022, he's doing good in school.
He's doing better. There was room for improvement, and I was just, again, trying to give him, something to work towards.
Do you remember the principal of Jefferson Middle School coming and testifying and saying that they were trying to email you all the time because Colt was up to double-digit absences in school?
I do remember talking with that principal several times.
Okay. And y'all had that attendance meeting, she testified, on January 11th, 2023.
Correct.
So by January 11th, which is obviously he hadn't had much school second semester, he had already had double-digit absences, so basically first semester.
Correct. And I heard in testimony that, I don't know who he was talking to, but he was telling me he was at school, but would miss the bus and stay home.
But they're sending you these emails and
Correct.
trying to get in touch with you about all his absences.
Right. And
Are you getting those?
I was getting those and doing everything I could to be involved with the school and figure out what was going on.
But Colt was doing so good in school, you got him that rifle.
He wasn't doing so good that it was a work towards kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Now, you said that bullying started midway through school year.
7th grade-ish.
Can you give me more of a month?
I can't. If you have something that you can show me to refresh memory, that would be good.
Well, you were referring to your conversations with Colt, so
Right.
I didn't know if you.
I don't know exactly what month or date. It was just, it was conversation where he came home and didn't want to go back to school.
Okay.
And I'm trying to understand why, and that's where the bullying came in.
Well, taken literally, middle of the school year would have been the Christmas break. And I'm not taking you literally. So do you know if it was before or after Christmas break?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Would it have been right around Christmas break?
It could have been. I don't know exact dates or time.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. How long was he talking about it before you emailed the school to address it?
We had talked about it, and it was very shortly after our conversation, and I understood what his impression of bullying was that I reached out to the school.
How long would you think that was before when he first started mentioning it till you reached out to the school?
I'm not sure.
Would it have been a month?
In the time frame, I don't know. It's been quite a while since that happened, so I can't tell you when exactly I reached out to the
Would
school.
have been more than a month?
I'm not sure.
Weeks?
I'm not sure. It would have been.
Days?
It would have been relatively, after we talked about it and I understood the full totality of what bullying was to him and what was actually going on.
Well, I understand, but I'm trying to get you to narrow it down
Yeah,
a little bit
I
more.
don't-
You can't give me anything better than middle of the school year?
Yeah, I can't give you an exact day or time when that happened.
Okay. Well, we talked about earlier that when Marcy was found in November of that year,
Sure.
that Marcy was found and DeFax opened a case. Do you remember in March, Michaela Anderson coming to your house as a DeFax worker to meet with you?
I do. I think I stated at one point, I don't remember that, but after I saw her walk in here, I do remember talking with her
Okay. So,
several times actually.
okay. So she came to your house the first time on March 9th, 2023.
Yep.
And she tells you she's with DeFax.
Yep.
And she's there to monitor Colt, make sure he's doing good.
Right.
Okay. She asks you about school.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes,
And
sir.
you tell her, going great.
Well, I didn't tell her it was going great. I told her, we're moving through school and, he's doing good.
Okay. You didn't mention to her anything about having this attendance meeting because he missed double-digit school?
I didn't tell her that, no, sir.
Okay. You don't think maybe she could have helped with that with Colt?
I don't think it crossed my mind that DeFax would get involved with absentees.
Okay. And you don't mention anything about Colt being bullied at school?
With her, no, sir.
No. And this is March 9th.
Correct.
That's kind of why I was asking you to give me a time frame,
Yeah.
because if
I
Colt's
got
getting bullied in January, why wouldn't you have told her in March?
Yeah, I understand what you're going at there, but I think by the time I talked to her, I'd been engaged with the school on the bullying issue, talking to them, meeting with them, counselors, teachers, all of that.
Okay. Would it help you? Did she tell you that she'd be checking in monthly?
She did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I think her next mint was on April 12th of 2023.
Mhm.
Okay. And she talks to you about Colt needing counseling or therapy.
So it was a suggestion. Yeah.
And you told her you didn't think he needed it.
Based on what Cole and I talked about and how I felt like the school told me they were going to respond, that we were good. He was involved with counselors at school.
Okay. And you didn't tell her about all these outbursts he'd been having at school and the property damage?
From sixth grade,
Sure.
no, sir.
You didn't think he needed any therapy? I mean, his mom had just been taken down to Fitzgerald and had that whole drunk in the, you didn't think he needed some therapy for that?
Well, to be honest with you, this is kind of my first steps into being a single parent. So, I didn't really have every, thing that I needed to do and know what to do. I'm trying to figure it out as we went along, trying to do the best I could.
So this is April 12th. And again, you say, she asked about school and you say Colt is doing good in school and he likes going to school.
In the beginning, he did, yes, sir.
Well, no, she's asking about how things are going April 12th. That's kind of towards the end, isn't it?
I think so.
Okay.
Middle of school, yeah.
April 12th, that's what you consider the middle of school?
I'm sitting here trying to think, so school ends what? What do you have? June, July, August, somewhere in there?
Well,
So,
when my kids were in school, they generally got out in May.
so I thought we were out June, like beginning of June. So towards the tail end, I guess April would be. Outside of the bullying issues, he was,
But that's not what you told her. You didn't say outside of the bullying issues,
Right.
he's doing good in school.
Right.
You said he's doing good in school and he likes school.
yeah, I mean,
Just left it out completely, the bullying.
I didn't feel like DeFax was going to do anything more than the counselor and the school administration was already doing for Colt.
Okay. So it's actually 5 days after that you first emailed the school about Colt being bullied on April 17th. Does that sound about right?
Sounds like maybe.
And the next month, May 5th, so this would have been 2.5 weeks after you sent that email about Colt being bullied at school, she visits again, correct?
Correct. Every month.
And you say Colt is doing superb in school, correct?
If that's what the statement says, yes.
And you still make no mention whatsoever of Colt being bullied.
Okay.
And she tells you at this time that she wants Colt to do counseling, right?
She may have.
Okay. But you didn't give him any counseling.
I did not.
Now, it's 2 weeks later that Jackson County Sheriff's Office shows up at your door.
Yes, sir.
And that's pretty unsettling to have law enforcement show up at your door,
Obviously.
jarring. Okay. And they told you that Colt had made threats on Discord to shoot up a school.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you look to see what Colt was doing on Discord?
I didn't know what Discord was.
Okay. So you didn't make any inquiries with Colt and actually look into his Discord?
Oh, I didn't know what Discord was. I asked Colt, sat down and had a long discussion about what Discord was. He gave me the rundown as he knew it. And all I did was tell him to shut it all down.
You didn't ask him to pull it up for me, let me look at it?
I don't believe I did.
Oh, okay. But he did spend a lot of time on the computer, didn't he?
He did gaming.
Okay. Now, this is less than 2 years after he searched how to kill you on a computer.
Okay.
But you didn't mention that at all to the deputies.
No, sir, I didn't. I didn't find out, like I said, until after the fact and was really settled with the explanation I got from Colt. So no, I didn't bring it up. And to be quite honest, I was more focused on what they were there for.
Well, they were there because they had reports that Colt threatened murder on a computer. And you had information that Colt had once searched murder on a computer.
Well, actually, they were there because someone in a chat room made a threat, not specifically Colt.
But they're there to look at Colt. And they gave you Colt's name.
Colt was on a list of what I was told of several different juveniles that were in the chat room, not just Colt.
But they came to your house because they had the name of Colt.
They did, and they were
Okay,
all,
and they told you that.
and they were on their way working down the list, is what he told me, of several different names of children that were, or juveniles that were in that chat box or room or whatever, but Colt was on that list and several others were too.
Were asking you
Yep.
if Colt could have been the person that was talking about murder on a computer. And you had information, whether you got it at the time or got it later, you had information that Colt had once searched murder on a computer. And you did not share that with them, did you?
They did not tell me directly,
That's my
Colt,
question. You did not share that with them, did you?
which part?
That Colt had once searched how to kill you on a computer.
I did not.
Thank you. Now, you know at this point he has trouble controlling his temper, Colt, when they're out there talking to you.
Controlling his temper, I don't know. I know he would get frustrated
Okay. And he would get all red-faced and angry
at times.
at times. And you actually bring that up with them.
Right.
Can we pull that clip up? Can we pull that sound?
All right, so we're in this. Now, look, let me give you the backstory. So. You talk to him? Yeah, absolutely. Now, look, he gonna get all red faced when you talk to him. Just calm. All right, so we're in this. Let me give you the backstory. So.
So you're warning the police officers before they see Colt.
Right.
Calm.
But
It's a little volatile at this point, isn't it?
not volatile. It's just more, I don't know if embarrassment's the right word. He just gets flustered. His face gets really red. And to be honest, when he gets to that level, he tends to just shut down, not talk at all.
In fact, I think you said in there that he gets flustered under pressure and doesn't think straight.
Yeah, that's what I believe I said.
And you know he's interested in school shootings at this point.
I don't think I do know that.
You don't remember telling them that you guys talk about this a lot,
We talk about what we see on the news,
about school shootings.
any shooting.
Okay. Now, you also know he has access to firearms at this point.
Correct.
In fact, you say, I'm going to be mad as hell if he did threaten the shooting, and then all the guns will go away. They won't be accessible to him. Right?
Yes, sir.
In fact, they ask you to restrict Colt's access to guns.
They asked to make sure that they're not laying about the house and freely available.
Freely available. Because you don't want dangerous kids having access to dangerous instruments, do you?
That's correct.
I mean, that's just reasonable, right?
Yep.
Now, you believed this tip enough at the time that you took Colt's computer away.
Correct.
Okay. So they're going down this list. They're not sure it's Colt. We're not sure. But you believed enough you actually took his computer away from him.
Until I could get a follow-up call the next day from that sheriff verifying that Colt had nothing to do with it.
How long was the computer taken away?
I'm not sure how long I took it away.
I think you talked about it to Jason Smith. Let's look and see what those things say.
I have kids, and again, you just say I didn't work in law enforcement, to me, as a regular dad, if the law enforcement comes, no matter who they are, law enforcement comes to my house and tells me that my son was in a room where they were talking about committing a school shooting, that's gonna be a giant red flag.
Oh, and it was.
No matter what my kid says, the kid can lie, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And it was.
That's a huge red flag.
Yep. It was. And I talked to that officer.
I'm probably gonna, you're not gonna have a computer, you're not gonna have one, you're not gonna be on the internet. Is that what you got?
It was done. No.
You take his computer?
Yeah, we just, like,
Right, just like you do times after you got stuff.
everybody take a break.
Right.
And when you feel like coming back and being normal, let me know, we'll talk about all this.
Right.
How long that's fine.
Till you come back being normal. You
Right.
didn't say anything to him about when they cleared him the next day. It sounds more like a longer period of time there.
Yeah, I'm not sure, he was asking a time frame at that moment. And ultimately, there was a lot of other things running through my mind other than how long I took his computer away at that moment.
I think there's another, I think they bring it up again later in the conversation, see if it sheds any more light.
When did you give this computer back to him? Because he was able to go look up all this about the school shootings and stuff. When did you give his computer back to him?
In Jefferson?
Yeah.
I have no idea when I get it back in because that was towards the end of school and then we started moving.
Okay, so what the next day was it?
I don't think it was the next day. And then he also did have a laptop, I believe, at that time too, so.
So you take away his computer because of this threat. You take away his ability to talk about school shootings, but you don't take away his ability to commit school shootings? I mean, the gun stayed, right?
Well, the gun stayed, but at that point, I just, there was this was Colt said to me by law enforcement. There was a lot of variables and unsure statements by the sheriff. So,
So at this point, you're not sure, is it Colt? Is it not Colt? I don't know. I'm going to take away his computer,
right.
but not the guns.
Correct.
Okay. Now let's jump to September 4th of 2024. This is the day that Colt murdered 4 people at Appalachian High School. This is 16 months later. That afternoon, you are talking to GBI agent Kelsey Ward. Remember that?
I did.
She came out to your house and
Yep.
y'all met in the car.
Mhm.
Now, when you're talking to her, she's trying to figure out why Colt did what he did earlier that day, wasn't she?
Yes, sir.
That was the point of it.
Yep.
Okay. And she's asking about Colt's friends. Remember that?
At some point, I'm sure she did.
Now, you never mentioned, y'all talked for like an hour and a half. You never mentioned one time Agent Kelsey Ward that just 16 months earlier, Jackson County Sheriff's Office deputies came to your house and told you that Colt may have been threatening to shoot up a school on the computer. And she's asking you for anything you can think of about why Colt would do that very same thing. And for an hour and a half, talking about Marcy and your back and everything else, you never mentioned them coming out to that house, did you?
No, sir.
In fact, she actually, when she's talking about the friends, she asked you, did you ever have any reason to talk to him about what he did on the computer? She's specifically asking, has there ever been a reason that you would need to talk to Colt about what he did on the computer? Did she?
Is relating to Appalachian?
Relating to Colt, and that's what she's talking to you about.
Sure. I didn't feel it relevant to talk to her because I had followed up with Jackson County and was specifically told that Colt was not that person.
You didn't think it was relevant. Is that what you're telling us?
What I was told was anything from Russia to California and multiple other persons could be involved. So I didn't think at the end of the day that.
But you didn't know it wasn't him. You just don't think it was him.
No, I was told it wasn't him. I was told I do this for a living and I believe Colt.
That's not what the Jackson County deputy said on the stand.
Well, that's what he told me on the phone, on the follow-up phone call. That's what he told me the next morning.
He never said that on the stand.
I can't.
Did he?
No, he didn't say that.
Okay. And then Agent Ward asked you if Colt had ever done anything that would cause you to want to monitor who he talks to on the computer. And you say, no.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Why don't we play that clip?
I have to do for you.
Tell me about his friends. Like, who are the names or people that you hear, or does he?
There's nobody he has ever been like friends with.
Okay.
And now what or who he's talking to on the computer, he pretty much kind of keeps that under wraps.
Okay.
I've never had a reason to go in there and like grill him about.
He's never done anything that caused you to feel like there needs to be any extra
Correct.
monitor on that front.
Yeah.
Now, you do bring it up with Investigator Smith, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But that was an hour and a half into the interview, wasn't it?
Okay.
Before you first bring it up with him.
Okay.
Okay. And you meet with Investigator Smith on September 5th around 3 o'clock, right?
I'm not sure of the time. What
Does that sound about right? Because you remember you took Jenny first.
Correct.
Okay. So around 3 o'clock sound about
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Okay. And it's around noon of that day that Marcy sends you that text asking what the hell is this, and has the picture of the FBI where it says they didn't come out to your house.
Yes, sir. I remember that text.
So at noon on the 5th, you know the world knows about it. And then in your interview, then it becomes relevant again?
The world knows about,
That they come to your house.
the FBI?
Well, Jackson County for the FBI.
Oh, yeah. Not necessarily that the world knew. Marcy sent me that text. I didn't make her aware of the situation for obvious reasons.
So on the 4th, when you're talking to Kelsey Ward, it's not relevant. On the 5th, at around noonish, you get that text from Marcy where you find out people know this now. And at 3 o'clock with Investigator Smith, an hour and a half into it, now all of a sudden it's relevant.
I don't know, relevant is the right word. I believe talking to Kelsey, we're talking a matter of hours, short time after the shooting. I'm still in a state of shock, trying to process what all happened.
Okay.
To be able to sit and recollect every single thing that has happened.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, like little things,
Well,
it'd be hard to remember.
Not little things, everything. I was doing my best just to just get through what questions they were asking. And it was several, it was
Let
the
me ask
next
you
day when I talked to Investigator Smith and had time to kind of process everything.
Let me ask you this. The entire conversation with Agent Ward and with Investigator Smith
Okay.
was all about Colt committing a school shooting.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is the only information you've ever had in your life up to this point about Colt and school shooting. And it's police coming to your house. And that didn't pop in your mind.
The way that I left it with Jackson County, Colt was never told to me to be the one that actually did this.
Wasn't it true you were just hiding it from them because then they would think you knew this was coming?
No, sir.
Now, let's go back. We were go back in time. I want to go through this chronologically. The sheriff's office has just come to your house, and that was May 21st, 2023, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, less than 3 weeks later, on June 9th of 2023, Michaela Anderson with DeFax comes back out to your house for those monthly checks on Colt, doesn't she?
Mhm.
And she asks you, how's Colt's behavior been? And you say, Colt's behavior's been okay. You don't mention to her that Jackson County came out to your house 2.5 weeks before.
No, sir, I did not.
Okay. And she asks you again, do you think Colt needs counseling? And you say, nope. Right?
Correct?
Okay. You also don't say anything to Michaela Anderson about planning to move to Barrow County, do you?
I don't think at that point I'd actually found a place where we were moving at all. The overall goal originally was try to get as close to Statham as we could. So I didn't have a dead set place yet.
Right, but that's not what I asked you. I said you didn't say anything to Michaela Anderson about planning to move to Barrow County. Did you?
No, I don't think I did. It was again, nothing set in stone.
No, you just said the final address wasn't set in stone, but you were searching for places near Statham in Barrow County. You just said that.
I did just say that.
Thank
There
you.
was nothing set in stone. It had to be Barrow County.
But you never said anything to her about planning to move, did you?
I did not.
And this is the woman who told you in March she would be coming to your house monthly to check on Colt.
Correct.
It was her job to do this.
Correct.
2 weeks later, you signed the lease at 896 Harrison Mill Road.
Yes, sir.
And you don't let anyone at DeFax ever know about your change of address, do you?
I don't. I think the last conversation I had with Michaela was she was satisfied with everything that was going on. That I think she worded it that I was more than helpful. Colt was polite. I was very pleasant to meet with and looked like we were on the right track. So I did not.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you remember testifying at a bond hearing here in court?
In the very beginning of all this, yes.
Okay, and you swore to tell the truth, whole truth, no truth, self God?
Yep.
You did that? Okay. Do you remember me asking you about DeFax coming out to your house, specifically about Michaela Anderson coming out to your house?
In the beginning, I do believe so. You may have asked that question.
Okay. In fact, I asked, so while you were at 954 River Mist Circle in Jefferson, a DeFax case was opened on your family in November of 2022. And your response was, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I remember that conversation with you. And to further that conversation, you also asked me if I had ever been arrested. And I had stated that I had not. And in fact, there had been some things 30 years ago, roughly, that had happened. There had been a lot that happened at that point. I've been, arrested. I've been in jail now for a year and a half. And so I'm trying to still process what exactly happened with my son and me being locked up for it. So if I did not remember every single detail that you were asking me at that point, that is my bad.
That's your bad. Okay.
I did, at the end of the day, we had so many meetings with DeFax here and there. I couldn't, I wasn't sure when I met with her.
All right. Well, let me say, so my next question to you was, after you said I wasn't aware of that, I asked, you don't remember them coming out to your house and interviewing you after November of 2022 into May of 2023. Now, this is November-ish or October-ish of 24 that I'm asking these questions. It's just been 2 years. And you said DeFax never interviewed me at that time.
Yeah,
And then one of them, I don't remember, or I can't recall.
Right.
You said they never interviewed me at that time.
yeah, after 2 years, I didn't remember
Yeah.
that, honestly.
And then I asked, between November of 2022 and May of 2023, they never did a home visit and spoke with you at your home in Jefferson? And you said, no, sir. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yes, sir.
And then I said, in May of 2023, was there a home visit by DeFax where they told you there would be monthly home visits? And you said, no, sir, not at that location. So then I asked, well, not at that location. What location did you have contact with DeFax? And you said, I had contact with DeFax in my home recent here in Bethlehem. I received a phone call at 10:30 at night from a DeFax caseworker that gave me instructions to get in my car and come pick up my younger children. So you're referring to when Tamika Mitchum called you.
Correct.
Again, just completely leaving out the Michaela Anderson stuff,
Totally agree.
the Shonda Goolsby stuff,
Yeah, there were multiple DeFax people.
multiple. And you said, no, sir. Go ahead. Sorry, there were multiple DeFax.
Yeah, so for me to be able to try to keep track of who all and when I met them without having everything in front of me, I may have misspoke to you, but it was not in an effort to deceive you or anything. I really was just trying to process being arrested, what had happened, and I just, I couldn't remember what DeFax I talked to and when.
Okay. Well, I understand completely if there's multiple DeFax involvements, which you just said,
Sure.
correct?
Yep.
If you have multiple DeFax involvements, getting confused as to which is which. I understand that. But I'm asking you, and you said, no, you only had one contact with DeFax, and that was at your house in Bethlehem when they called to tell you to come pick up your kids.
Most recently. Yeah.
That's not confusing multiple. That's saying there's only one.
I think I was referencing in the moment, like who I was dealing with currently.
So I actually asked you that. So this would have been after June 23rd of 2023. And you said, yes, sir. And then my last question was, and you're saying that you had no contact with DeFax prior to that? And you said, no, sir. You sound pretty adamant, not confused.
Okay.
Let's move on to 8th grade. Now, Colt registers on August 8th, 2023 at Heyman Morris Middle School, correct?
Yes, sir.
So then he withdraws 3 days later on August 11th, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he never actually went there.
Correct.
Okay. And then he moves back to Fitzgerald with his mom,
I moved back with Debbie.
but that's where his mom is, right?
Correct.
Okay. And he never attended Heyman Morris before he went down there.
No, sir.
Did he attend school in Fitzgerald?
No, the plan was Debbie was going to sign him up for homeschooling.
But he never went to school in Fitzgerald.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And it's down there that Colt begins cutting himself.
So I found that out in a weekend trip back home after I was up in Atlanta. Yes, sir.
But that's your understanding of when it was started?
Somewhere in that time frame. Yes, sir.
Okay. And I think they show you the pictures
Yes, sir.
of Colt's arm.
Yes, sir.
We showed those on the thing.
Yep.
Okay. And is that what they look like when you showed them to you?
He did. That's what they look like. Yeah.
Okay. And were you aware of these photos on Colt's phone? Were you aware of this photo on his phone?
I don't think so. No,
Okay.
sir.
Do these look familiar to you though?
Yeah, those are the ones that were on his arm.
Okay. And those are pretty substantial cuts, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
I mean, the ones from the other picture were from the September 4th, and this happened almost a year before. So a year later, it's got pretty wicked scars still.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you took that seriously, didn't you?
I took that serious enough when I went back. This happened when I was in Atlanta. When I went back home, Marcy had brought it to my attention. I asked Colt what happened, what he was doing. He said, he was just sitting in his room, kind of spacing out, did it with his pocket knife, and I took his pocket knife.
He did that spacing out?
Yeah, he said, I asked him if it was an anger issue or was there something like wrong? Was he, try to give me the backstory? He couldn't really give me a good answer as to why he did it. I think he said something along the lines, I just did it. And I said, okay. And I took a knife he had in his room.
But that's a sign of depression, don't you?
I did not know that was a sign of depression. No, sir.
You didn't know that that's a cry for help?
I didn't know that was a cry for help. No, sir.
You didn't realize that's a form of violence?
A form of violence, yes, probably. But I guess, yeah, you could say it was a form of, doing something harmful to himself is the way I took it.
Yeah. He's only 13 at this point.
Correct.
Where did he get the knife?
I had pocket knives down there, so I guess he had taken one of my pocket knives. I'm not sure. I wasn't in the home day in and day out at that point.
But you removed his knife, right?
The one he said he used.
Okay. Because you can't hurt himself if you remove the instruments to hurt yourself, right?
That particular pocket knife and the answer of, I don't know why I did it, then yeah.
I mean, like we said earlier, children that are dangerous shouldn't have access to dangerous things, right?
If they can't tell me why they're doing what they're doing, then yeah, I would take the pocket knife.
Yeah, it's just reasonable, right?
If you're harming yourself, yes.
Or if you're a danger to harm yourself.
Correct. But like I said, the answer was, I don't know why I did it.
Okay.
Just kind of spacing out.
So you told Investigator Smith that Colt stopped cutting himself after that summer.
Yeah, that was the only issue I've ever seen where he did anything like that.
Did you ever check into that? What measures did you take to check into if he continued cutting himself?
It's, as far as I knew, it stopped right then. He never made any other attempts or cut himself, to my knowledge, after that.
I understand, but what I'm asking is what steps did you take to monitor that?
I didn't monitor it because I wasn't in the home daily. I was up here, pretty much gone.
No, I mean, he was only down there for a few weeks.
Right.
After he comes back is when you don't even know he's cutting down there, do you?
No, I didn't know he was cutting down
So
there.
you find out when he's here.
No, I find out when I went home on a weekend visit from Atlanta and saw those cuts on his arm.
And he's here at that point.
No, he's in Fitzgerald.
He's still in Fitzgerald.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How shortly after that did he come back to live with you?
I'm not sure what that time frame was.
I mean, he was only there for a few weeks.
Maybe I can't tell you exactly when he came back.
It was less than a month,
I'm not sure.
less than 2 months.
I'm not sure of the dates. I just know what happened to make me go get him.
But you don't know when that was.
No.
But back to my original question.
Yep.
Now that he has come to live with you, shortly after you find out he's been cutting himself,
Yep.
he's in your house now.
Yes, sir.
What do you do to monitor, check up on, to make sure he's not still cutting himself?
I don't think we ever had a conversation about it. There was no further discussion from anybody else in the family that he was cutting himself. I talked to Colt a lot. We had a pool in the backyard at Harrison Mill. Saw him with his shirt off all the time, playing in the pool. I didn't see any further evidence that he was cutting himself.
Okay. Were you aware of this picture that was taken on April 1st, 2024?
No, this is the first time I'm actually ever seeing this picture.
Okay. So you didn't know that he was cutting himself in April of 2024. He lived with you then, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
Now, let's move on. We're going back to Fitzgerald. This is October 3rd of 2023. Colt has that juvenile complaint form where he broke windows, stabbed cardboard. I think he testified about that on direct. That
Yeah.
whole incident down
Oh,
there.
yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
After Marcy beat him over chicken nuggets, yes, sir.
Yeah. So breaking windows,
Broke a window.
stabbing things with knives.
Marcy made the claim that he cut the couch.
Okay. And he says he didn't.
He said he did.
And you just always take Colt's word for these things?
Over Marcy, yes.
Okay. You don't ever check into it?
I believe my son more than I believe his mother.
Okay. Now, we're talking about more violence and improper use of a knife, correct?
As Marcy alleged.
Okay. But you have knowledge of this, these allegations that you've been told about them.
Correct.
Okay.
Through Marcy.
And Colt comes back to live with you in Bear County.
Correct.
And that's October 3rd or roundish early October.
Yeah, ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now he's not going to school at this point.
Correct.
Not enrolled anywhere, is he?
No, sir.
Okay. So you just go to work every day and there he is.
Correct. He's in the house.
Okay. Then on October 13th, that's when DeFax calls and says, come get your other two kids.
Correct.
Okay. And you drive down the next day and now you have custody of all three kids
That's right.
and Marcy does not.
Right.
Okay. You call the shots when it comes to the kids.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now the caseworker talks to you while you're down there.
Yes, sir.
And that's Tamika Mitchell.
Yeah.
Okay. And she tells you to get these kids in school ASAP and into therapy.
Yes, sir.
Didn't she? Okay. And you told the caseworker that the whole family will be going to therapy.
Correct.
All right. But you don't put them in school, do you?
Initially, no, sir.
And you don't put them in therapy, do you?
Initially, no, sir.
Now, you also talked to Tamika on the phone on October 18th, so a week later. And you tell her over the phone that Colt and Jenny want to do homeschooling, but the school doesn't have room, so they have to go physically. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
That sounds like what I was talking about with her.
and she tells you to get the kids in therapy. So this is the second time she's told you to get kids in therapy. Right.
She asked if I had them in therapy.
Okay. And you tell her that you and the kids will be going to therapy.
Yes, I tell her I'm currently trying to make that happen.
Okay. And then approximately a week and a half later is when the Barrow County DeFax worker comes out to your house to look at your house. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And you tell her that you have arranged counseling services for your kids and yourself at Barrow Village Ministry.
Correct. Arrange probably wasn't the right word to use with her. I was in the process of researching everything that I could as far as therapy went and family matters. Relatively new at being a single parent. So I wanted to let her know that I was not doing nothing about it. And I had researched Barrow Ministries at some point, trying to figure out what was the best avenue for us.
Okay. So you didn't want her to think you weren't doing anything,
I wasn't not doing anything.
and you were researching,
I was looking around trying to figure out what was best.
but you never pulled the trigger on any of them, did you?
Just collecting information at
Just
that point.
collecting information. So they've asked you twice to get the kids in therapy because they've been through a lot, haven't they?
They have.
And you keep telling them you're gonna. And one time you kind of alleged that you already had, but you didn't.
Right.
But you don't ever follow through on any of it, do you?
It's not the only thing I had to worry about. While I had those kids, there was a lot I was learning on the fly, being a single parent, working full time, just trying to get my feet under me on how to do all of this by myself.
So that's a no.
That's just a fact. So if you consider it a no, then it's a no.
Did you?
No,
Ever put
I
them
did not
in
actually enroll them or myself in therapy.
Thank you. Now, they also asked about weapons, and you say that you have weapons, but they are stored and locked away out of the reach of the children.
Okay.
And again, that's not true, is it?
I don't remember saying locked away. I just remember saying they were stored and out of reach of the children.
But that's not true, is it?
The lock part, no. Stored and out of reach, yes.
Out of reach is true.
For the most part, yeah, they were out of reach of, they weren't readily available for just laying around the house.
Colt couldn't reach that shelf in your closet.
I guess that he could if he stood on something, but even I have to reach up and over to get it.
But I mean, obviously, to DeFax, they're concerned about weapons being accessible to the children, and you're assuring them that they're not accessible, but they are, aren't they?
Right, and I'm being forthcoming and open and letting them know I do have weapons in the house as well.
But didn't you also tell her that this was the first time you had ever had DeFax contact?
I don't know if I told her that or not. Like I said, there were multiple DeFax people I was talking
Pull that
about.
up for me. She made a summary right there.
Yep.
See if I can find it. So down there at the bottom, the next to the bottom one, BFA, that's you, biological father, never had CPS involvement and felt appreciated that CM's help and made it easier for the children to feel safe. So you told her you've never had DeFax involvement, didn't you?
That's what I told her.
Isn't that eerily the same lie you said here in the courtroom at your bond hearing?
Again, this was not a lie.
I mean, this is the same year.
This was not an outright lie as in deception. There was just a lot of things going on, and I didn't recall, certain meetings with DeFax.
So this is October 30th of 23. The very next day, DeFax closes their case, don't they?
Yes.
And that's because you told them that you were getting counseling and that the kids had no access to the guns.
Told them I was working on counseling, and that
Well, that's not what she recorded.
I don't know why she recorded what she recorded. I know that I told her I was working through multiple avenues of therapy, not locked into one. I never signed anything to go specifically to a counselor. I was compiling information.
Yeah, doing a lot of research you were. Let's go to November 4th of 2023. Marcy comes up, and that's when she keys your truck and gets arrested.
Correct.
All right. So, that's been a very stressful summer and fall for Colt, hasn't it?
It has for all of us.
It starts with Jackson County coming to the door about school shooter threats. Then it goes to him cutting himself. And then shortly thereafter, he gets the juvenile complaint for breaking the windows and cutting the couch. Then his mother, a few weeks after that, loses custody for drug use. Then a month or so after that, she gets arrested for keying the truck. He's not in school. He's not in counseling. That's a rough summer and fall, isn't it?
For all of us.
For a 13-year-old.
For a 50-year-old. For all of us.
And on November 17th, you buy him that Sig Sauer M400 rifle.
In November, I actually purchased a weapon for me. And was going to use that weapon is something that he and I could bond over with.
I thought it was his Christmas present.
It was not directly a Christmas present. It was something I told him he could use. I had one, we could shoot together. And at a later date, when he was of legal age, I would give him that gun.
So this was not his Christmas present.
This was a part of his Christmas. This was not a, here is your gun. The conversation was, I bought this weapon. This is one that you can use to shoot when we go to the range or hunting.
Well, first off, before we get into that, you did purchase it on November 11th.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that is 7 months after Jackson County asked you to restrict his access to guns? Correct.
Not sure they asked me to restrict his access, just to make sure that they weren't readily available.
And 18 days after DeFax, after you told DeFax Colt didn't have access to guns.
Correct.
He's about to.
The gun was not for him. So it wasn't his gun.
Okay. Let's play what you told Agent Ward about it.
The weapon that he had was a AR-15, it was a 223, and it was a Sig Sauer. And that was kind of like his big Christmas present where I said,
Well, you cut it off with what I said.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry.
Do you want to play the whole thing?
I'm not going to play an hour and a half interview.
Well, that's the part where I said, this is a gun that I bought that you can use when we go to the shooting range or hunting.
Right. Well, I didn't say you weren't saying that.
Right.
But it was his big Christmas present.
It was a part of his Christmas.
Thank you. Now, at this point, had you given the knife back to him from cutting himself?
No, I don't remember giving him a specific knife.
Okay. I mean, you took away his knife. You testified to that.
Yeah, I took away a pocket knife he had down in Fitzgerald.
Did you ever give it back to him?
I did not.
Okay. Now, Colt is 13 years old at this point. This would have been 23, Christmas 23. Yeah, he's 13 at this
Yes,
point. Okay. And you let him keep the gun in his room?
At times.
Okay. Well, right after Christmas, he got to keep it in the room.
He did.
Okay. And on December 19th, you ordered that laser sight for the rifle on Amazon.
Which one?
We can pull it up. That one there. Green laser rifle, the ones in the pictures.
Correct. I actually ordered that laser for my rifle when I ordered it. But yes, I did order that laser.
Now, Colt is still not in school, is he?
No, sir.
Okay. And you got the kids in October.
Correct.
And this is December.
Right.
And you haven't done anything to enroll them in school.
For 8th grade or 9th grade.
When you got the kids in October.
Right.
Till this is December, you haven't done anything to get them in school.
Yes, sir.
Did you even do any research?
I don't believe I did.
Okay. Now in January 12th, actually, Annie's the one that registers little Coley at Austin Road Elementary School.
Correct.
Okay.
Annie, myself, and Debbie were working on registration for all the kids.
Okay. In January.
I think Annie and I started talking about that maybe prior to the new year.
Mhm.
I was needing guidance on what to do and how to do. I've never been in the position where I had to enroll our kids. It was always, Marcy.
Did you ever think about going to the Bear County School website?
No, I didn't. Because I relied on Debbie and 40 years of education, and she usually guided me through what had to happen as I became a single parent.
Oh, okay. So that's little Coley though on January 12th, right? That's not Jenny and Colt.
I believe so.
Okay. In fact, on January 25th, that's when Lorene sends you those emails giving you a step-by-step guide of how to get them in school, virtual school, or online. And she tells you exactly how to do it, doesn't she?
Yes,
And she even volunteers to pay for it, doesn't she?
she does.
And you don't do it, do you?
I don't do it. Jenny and I were in a conversation of did she want to do it, and she opted to want to go to public school.
So Jenny's registered on February 2nd, correct?
Yes, sir.
And this is second semester, correct?
Yes, sir.
She'd already missed the entire first semester of school, didn't she?
Yes, sir.
Now, on the 6th, the school emails you with a start date for Jenny and Colt, correct?
I believe so.
Okay. And you email back that Jenny's sick with a fever and will start on Thursday, right?
Sounds correct.
But Colt never attends.
He does not.
In fact, at that point, on the 13th of February, you email the school and say you're going to sign Colt up for online classes at this time.
Yes, sir.
And you actually said at this time.
Yes, sir.
So on February 13th, well into the second semester, you hadn't done anything to get Colt enrolled in online classes.
No, sir. It was kind of ongoing
Yeah. In
operation.
fact, you never sign him up for online, do you?
So I had, in talking with my sister, I had thought there was email communication back and forth that Georgia Virtual was where he was enrolled. There were access codes sent in an email. And I remember talking with Colt saying, we have you registered. I thought at the time at Georgia Virtual, here's the access codes, and you should be good to go.
But you never did anything to get him enrolled, did you?
I physically did not do anything. That's it.
I think you testified on direct. That was your bad.
Yeah. I was needing as much help as I could get. There was a lot of, I was responsible in trying to cover a lot of things.
Now, that's on the 13th is when you tell them that Colt's not going to school.
Yep.
On the 29th, you, Colt, and Jenny go to Wilson Shoals Gun Range.
Yes, sir.
And that's a school day, right?
Maybe it was, I'm not sure.
Is school not very important to you?
It is.
Now, it's around this time that Colt's aggression is escalating, isn't it?
Maybe, I'm not sure.
You don't remember when it was?
I don't.
You don't remember when he starts fighting with you physically?
Physically, I think I mentioned it 3 times. I don't know when the exact date of those were. I would say that aggression-wise, just more tempered, kind of short-tempered, more than he would normally be.
Do you remember telling Kelsey Ward on September 4th that probably 5, 6, 7 months ago, his attitude escalated to the point where he would be like cussing and talking to me like you shouldn't talk to your parents, and he's like hands-on trying to fight me?
Yeah, that's correct.
So you said 5 to 6, 7 months ago. That was in September. So
Right.
7 months would be around February,
Right.
going into March.
Yeah.
Okay. So around this time we're talking about.
Sounds like it.
Okay. And you told her that he went so far as to strike you in the face.
In one of our scuffles, yes, sir.
Does he
Sorry.
appear to you to start being out of control?
It was not an everyday thing. It was more based on if he didn't get his way about something or we had a disagreement, it was arguing and cussing most of the time. And we did have separate instances where, like I said, he would bull rush me.
I think when you did on direct, when you were describing the bull rush, you said you could see him kind of building up in him,
One time I could see him getting angry,
getting all worked up.
just, not agreeing with what, I was saying. And I could tell by the tone of his voice that, it was escalating.
His anger is building up, isn't it?
It was in that moment on that particular day.
To the point he lashed out in a violent physical way.
He just bull rushed me. Yes, sir.
Struck you in the face.
He was flailing all about it. He didn't strike me in the face. He struck me like right there. Just, I don't think he was aiming. He was just more kind of flailing around.
So where again was it?
Just right here,
So the neck,
Right.
not the face?
right there.
Well, how would you describe that? The neck or the face?
Well, it depends on what part of the neck. Maybe bottom of my face, top of my neck.
I'm
Right.
asking how you would refer to that.
I would refer that to neck or face.
Okay. When you talked to Agent Ward, you referred to it as face, didn't you?
Yeah, it sounds like that's what I said to her.
You said, so we've probably had 3 or 4 of these kind of altercations where he's gotten above aggressive with me. Above aggressive. I call it a bull rush. The second to last time, he hit me in the face.
Yep, I remember telling her that.
Okay. And then I think you actually referred to this when you talked to Jason Smith the next day, the bull rushing again.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And second time, he was kind of like flailing around and he hit me in the side of the head. And I told him, don't hit me in the face ever again. Remember that?
I do.
So it was the face.
It was face.
Thank you. Now, so this is all happening the end of February going into March. March 8th of 2024, you buy that Sightmark Ultrashot RSP, correct?
The site. Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was for Colt's gun.
That was-
$150.
That was for the city. Yes, sir.
Okay. It was found in Colt's closet. The box was.
Mhm.
Okay. And 3 weeks later, on March 28th, 2024, you buy him that bungee sling.
I actually bought the bungee sling for my rifle.
But it was Colt take it for his.
I saw it in the picture hanging in his closet, but that was a purchase I made for my rifle.
But Colt had it in his closet.
In that picture, that's the first time I've seen it in his closet. Yes.
Okay. And on that same date, you buy the Hornady, if I'm pronouncing that right, Custom 223 Remington 5.5.
Ammunition. Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's found in Colt's bedroom.
That's, yes, where it ended up.
Okay. And that's all around this same time that the bull rushing is starting.
In that time frame, yes.
Now let's move to May of 2024. Tell me about Elite Pawn and Jewelry in Conyers. What is that?
Pawn shop and gun store.
Okay. And why do you go there?
I purchased 2 guns.
Okay. So the first one is on May 3rd. You buy a gun for $794.80.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's on May 3rd. You go back on May 10th and make another purchase of $449.34. That's also a gun.
Yes, sir.
Okay. On May 17th, the week after that, you go back and you make two purchases, both of $52.95. What's that?
For $52?
And 95 cents. But it's two of those.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was.
Okay. And then you go back the very next week and make another purchase for $52.95.
Okay,
Is that correct?
sounds like it.
So you're going on the 3rd, the 10th, the 17th, and the 24th.
Okay.
Basically every same day, every week.
Yep,
Okay. And that's $1,400 in 1 month at Elite Pawn and Jewelry.
okay,
And they're all gun related?
sounds like it, yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the $52 were.
Okay. And on the 31st of that month, you order the high-powered laser sights and accessory rail set from Amazon.
Correct.
And that's the one that's on Colt's rifle.
It's on his rifle and my rifle.
Okay, it's more it's pieces that you put on different rifles.
Correct. Part of them went on mine, part of them went on his.
Okay. And then let's move on to June. So that was May 31st, so the last day of May. First day of June, June 1st, you order the bore sight 223 from Amazon.
Yes, sir.
Now, it's also sometime in early June that Colt throws this screwdriver at you. Correct?
Sounds like it, yes, sir.
And that was during a fight.
I was during an argument.
Okay. And he throws it at you. Must have been right around before June 7th because you make an email, a text message about it on June 7th.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And he's angry at you
He's frustrated.
and he throws a screwdriver at you.
He threw it down the hall towards me.
Okay. Well,
I had my back totally towards him. Didn't even see him throw it.
but he threw it at you. He was aiming for you.
I don't know who he was aiming for me. It ended up hitting me. But I didn't physically stand there and see him aim for me.
All right. Well, let's talk about play the clip where you talk to Investigator Smith about it.
And
Jenny described seeing him kick you, punch you, hit you,
that was the second time,
and that was how long ago.
probably a month and a half ago before he started back to school. And that's when I pulled in every,
Did you ever throw anything at you?
say, hey, threw a screwdriver at me.
So at the beginning of that, he says, Jenny described seeing him kick you and punch you and hit you. And you said, that was the second time.
Right.
You didn't say that didn't happen.
What's that?
You didn't say that didn't happen. That he kicked you, punched you, and hit you.
Right. That was Jenny's statement.
And you said, yeah, that was the second time.
Yep. Meaning the hitting part.
Oh, okay. And then he threw the screwdriver at you.
He did throw that screwdriver, down the hallway towards me.
All right. Well, let's look at the text message you sent to Colt about it on June 7th.
Mhm.
And that's you. Hey, Bubba, hear what I'm saying right now, okay? What I'm about to ask you is not trying to start anything. Make sure you understand that, okay? Are you worried about his anger there?
I was worried about him taking it as far as he did. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, like even with just sending him this text message, you seem like you're worried about him getting angry.
Yeah, I'm worried about, we'd established a close bond at this point, and I thought that I'd created avenues for him to be able to come and talk to me before it got to this point.
Okay. And then the next one you say, okay, question I have is this. Did you tell Mamu that you had the screwdriver in your hand for self-defense?
Right.
Please tell me the truth, because we both know I wasn't even looking at you when you threw it at me.
Right.
Okay. So he threw it at you.
Right.
All right. So that's on the 7th. 3 days later on the 10th, you order him that tactical vest from Amazon.
Yes.
And Colt had asked you about that. Get it for him.
The tactical vest. Yeah. He
See?
wanted.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, he wanted to use it. He saw people at the range using it. So he thought it looked neat and asked me to buy it for him.
Okay. And you ordered it to appease him.
I did.
And you told him you were getting it for him in a text message, didn't you?
I did.
All right. Let's see that text message. And you say, yo, I got this for you, son, because I love you. And also, hopefully, you can work on being a little more patient.
Mhm.
Colt, when it comes to you, and if you need something, if I can do it, I will do it. But if I cannot, then I cannot do it. And that's when I need you to be okay with it, knowing that as soon as I can, I will. At the end of the day, being disrespectful and flat out being mean and ugly doesn't do anything. So please, when you feel like you're getting angry or about to lose your temper, take a deep breath and then realize I'm going to make it happen at some point. Okay? I'm working hard for us. I do not want any more of that pushing, shoving, hitting anymore. We both deserve better than that. So here's the windup and the pitch. See you later, alligator. Love you.
Yes, sir.
All right. And then that's the one where you talk about when you feel like getting angry and about to lose your temper. You get angry and lose his temper a lot.
Not a lot.
Okay. And you'd say, don't want any more of that pushing, shoving, hitting.
Yes, sir.
So he's physically violent?
Not all the time, no, sir.
Well, I know not all the time, but there are times that he's physically violent.
3 times the pushing and shoving, three times that I remember.
And the throwing the screwdriver.
Correct.
Okay. And you also add in a screenshot of the tactical vest in this. Hold on, we have to pull it up.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's the one there. And then he sends a photo of him in the vest.
Yep.
Now, on the 28th of June, you purchased a knife for Colt at Academy Sports
That was a purchase for me.
for you.
Yes.
So this knife,
Brown handle.
that's
Yes,
the
sir.
one, that's your knife.
I purchased that knife.
Where did you keep it?
I had it in my pocket sometimes, had it in my book bag at other times. Sometimes I forget to take it to work.
Okay. Was it accessible to Colt?
It may have been if I didn't have it on my person.
Okay. I mean, that's the one that was found in Colt's book bag at school, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I agree. I didn't know that he had taken that knife.
Okay. So you're not worried about Colt cutting himself anymore?
Again, that knife wasn't for Colt.
But it's in the house where you can get to it. You weren't worried about him cutting himself anymore?
Again, I didn't purchase that knife for Colt, and typically it was on my person.
Okay. So let's move on to July. That was June 28th. So let's move into the month of July. I think you were testifying earlier that Colt can be violent, but it's not all the time. Jeannie sends you a text on July 3rd. And she says, hey, I think he calmed down.
Mhm.
And you say, he doesn't calm down that quick. And Jeannie, I can't live like this.
Right.
It's seriously not good.
Mhm.
It tears me up. I just want him happy. And man, he calls me everything in the book.
Yes, sir.
How many good days is he having if you seriously can't live like this?
It's just that I couldn't reach him. You know, that was the part I was trying to, I guess, convey to Jenny is, you know, I wanted him to not get as upset as he would over silly things. So,
Does he have trouble calming himself down?
no, not typically. Even after one of our dust ups, he would relatively calm down.
Real quick. Okay. Do you want to read your statement again?
Which part?
Where you say he doesn't calm down that quick?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take days or anything, you know, for him to calm down, but he doesn't calm down in 5 minutes either.
Now, Colt would chase Jenny around the house. Correct?
He chased her one time down the hallway. Yeah.
And that wasn't in a playful way, was it?
It started out as a playful kind of thing in the kitchen while Debbie and I were standing there talking.
So they're playing around in the kitchen.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden, Colt
yeah.
Didn't play
Jenny,
anymore.
yeah, Jenny did something. I don't know what exactly she did, but as soon as she did it, she took off down the hallway and he chased her.
in a violent way.
Oh, I don't know if it was violent. He just chased her down the hallway.
Well, do you think it was playful then, or did you think it was violent?
I think it was brother and sister kind of picking on each other.
Just brother and sister picking on each other.
Right.
And that's what you're testifying today.
Well, Debbie and I were standing there. I don't think either one of us thought it was a violent thing.
Okay. Well, you talked to Investigator Smith about it, didn't you?
I did.
Let's play that clip. See if you thought it was violent then.
Told us about the incident where he chased her into his room and said it scared her. It scared me. Yeah. And you know, that you and her have talked multiple times about getting him help.
Yep.
Going back for a while.
For a while, you're asking time frames. I'm sorry, I can just snap off this, what these time frames are, but yes, there's like, there was no like blind eye. We're trying,
Right.
He says, she told us about the incident where he chased her into his room and she said it scared her. And you said, yeah, it scared me.
Yeah, it scared me because when he got to the end of the hallway, he tripped and went headlong into the linen closet and put a hole in it with his head.
Okay. And then he put a hole in her door, trying to get into her door.
Not at that time. He got up and I think he was trying to pick the lock, I think is what she said he was doing.
Okay. But he put a hole in her door too.
Not at that point. I don't think so.
Okay. So he can go from being playful to chasing his daughter to the point it scares her. So his sister, it scares her and scares you like that.
Well, what scared me was him banging his head into the door.
That's not how you said it.
I said, it scares me. Right. He never asked what scared me. I just told him it scared me. And I'm telling you what scared me was he tripped and went headlong into the door.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, so that was on the 3rd. You pick up Marcy on the 6th of July, correct?
Sounds accurate,
And she moves into your house,
correct?
and you refer to her in your phone as my pretty.
Yeah, that's how I always talk to her.
Okay. And she talks to you about Colt while she's up there. Correct?
Okay,
Y'all
yes.
talk about Colt a lot.
We talk about all of our children a lot.
Okay. We specifically talk about Colt a lot.
I don't think any more than the others, but we do talk about Colt, yes.
You don't think you specifically talk about Colt any more than the other kids
We talk about,
at this time.
oh, I don't know about this time. We were talking about a lot of things at this time. If it was more about Colt, we probably had good reason to be talking more about Colt.
Yeah, I think y'all have pretty good reason to be talking about Colt. This is when he starts showing signs of depression, isn't it?
Maybe I'm not, I can't tell you I can look at somebody and see depression.
Well, you don't remember telling Investigator Smith that he suffered from depression for a while?
If I use the word depression, it was more just kind of really disappointment of what his mother had said and done leading up to,
So the word depression is being thrown around in your house in July.
it's just casual conversation, not being thrown around,
One of your children having depression is casual conversation?
we're talking about our children. I don't know how you want to quantify it, but, we're just talking about what's going on with all of our kids.
All right. Well, did you talk about Colt on July 20th when he had the panic attack at the house?
I did.
And you were there then, weren't you?
I believe I was, yes, sir.
And Colt wanted y'all to call 911.
Yeah, I never heard him state it to call 911. I wasn't in that living room at that time.
Okay. But he was acting bad.
Not bad. I
didn't mean mad. Bad.
Oh.
He was having a bad time of it.
That particular night, I came out of the shower, I believe, and he was in the kitchen with Marcy in tears. Yes, sir.
Okay. And y'all been talking about depression.
We've been talking a lot of things, not specifically only about depression,
Well,
but
I know you don't talk only about depression, but y'all have been talking about depression.
in conversation, yes, we've talked about depression, a lot of things.
And now he's crying, wanting to call 911, having a panic attack in your house.
Yeah, when I found him, he was crying. I didn't know it was a panic attack. I've never seen a panic attack. So at that point, I didn't know that's,
And there was discussion about taking him to the doctor the next week,
I believe there was.
but y'all never took him to the doctor, did you?
No, Marcy took him in the bedroom and got him to calm down. I asked her what she thought it was. She had made mention of a panic attack. I think I said something along the lines, I've never seen one. So
Okay. Did it scare you?
it scared me to the point where I've never seen him, cry really like that.
But you didn't take him to the doctor.
I did not know, sir.
Now, 4 days later, that's when Marcy starts giving him Zoloft.
I'm not sure when she started giving him Zoloft,
Okay.
to be very honest with you.
You remember getting the text on July 24th where she texts you and says, I started Colt on Zoloft today. Don't say anything about it unless he brings it up.
I remember that text.
Okay. And now that's Marcy's prescription, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You didn't take him to the doctor?
I did not know, sir.
Okay. And did you think he needed medicine?
I didn't think he needed medicine, no, sir.
Okay. Did you want to go to a doctor and see if she's giving him medicine? Don't you want to kind of talk to a doctor about that?
I didn't think that, I needed to take him to a doctor.
Did you tell Marcy not to give him the Zoloft?
I did tell Marcy, the comment was where I think she had made mention of how she was divvying up her medicine.
Mhm.
And when I asked her, like, well, how do you know what to give him? She said, I researched it, but then I talked to my doctor about what I was going to do for Colt. That's kind of where we left it.
But you didn't stop her from giving him the Zoloft?
I did not stop her from giving him the Zoloft.
Don't you have full custody of those kids?
Oh, I do, yeah.
Isn't there a safety plan in place to protect them from Marcy?
I don't know if the safety plan was in place at that time, but there was one at a point. Yes, sir.
And you decide who visits and when she visits and what contact she has with them, don't you?
I do.
Okay. And you didn't stop her from giving your son Zoloft.
I didn't stop her from giving him Zoloft, no, sir.
Okay. Now, you testified to some stuff about registering Colt. I think you said that you went up and met with the registrar and they said, don't start right away.
I think I
You have
talked
to
to
get
her.
a schedule under control or
I think I
something?
talked to her on the phone. I don't think I ever met with her face to face.
Oh, okay. Why is there no record of that in the school records?
I don't know.
You don't know. Didn't you hear Lisa Butler testify? Do you remember her testifying? And her saying that y'all came up on the 13th of August.
Right.
And she sat down with Colt and made a schedule for him.
We were talking about the schedule and when his start date was.
And that's on the 13th.
I believe so.
Okay.
It's been a minute.
Okay. So the first day of school was on the 1st.
Right.
Y'all actually, according to the school paperwork, you signed the registration papers on the 6th. Marcy finished them up on the 12th. And then you met with Lisa Butler on the 13th.
Right.
And Colt's first day was on the 14th.
The 14th.
So 2 weeks after school started.
Right.
Okay. Now, on August 11th, so August 6th is when he's registered for Appalachian. August 11th, Colt at 11:22 a.m. texts you to stop by Academy and pick up a 150 round pack of 5.56 or 2.23. Remember that?
Yep.
Okay. Why would Colt be asking you for ammunition?
The only reason we would be ever talking about ammunition is we had talked or were planning to go to the shooting range.
But didn't you say that you kept the ammunition away from Colt?
I did in my closet up there with the weapons.
So how would he have any idea how much ammunition or if you needed any ammunition?
Because we had been shooting before, and I think with the holiday weekend coming up, we had talked about going to the range, and he knew what kind of
When
ammunition.
did you last go to the range?
I'm not sure at that point.
Because the last record we have would have been in 2023.
And what range?
Let me see. That was 24. March of 24.
What range?
I think it's the Wilson Shoals.
Is that the only record you have?
Yeah. Of you taking the kids.
Yeah, go to the range.
Yeah.
That's it?
That's all we got.
Okay. Well, there was another range, Charlie Elliott,
I saw your name
at
in
Charlie
that one,
Elliott.
but not the kids.
Right, Colt, never took Jenny to that range, but Colt and I did attend Charlie Elliott shooting ranges.
Why wouldn't Colt's name be on the register?
I don't know.
Okay. And when was that?
I'm not sure when that time frame was.
Okay.
We did attend Charlie Elliott a couple times though.
Okay. So on August 11th, the Colt asked you for a 150 round pack of 5.56 or 2.23.
Sounds like it, yes, sir.
Did he say what he wanted it for?
He did.
Okay. Did his request raise any alarms with you?
No, because we had made mention of the holiday weekend coming up.
Okay. And was he still being physically violent at this time?
Physically, I can't remember when the last time we were physical with each other, but we were having disagreements here and there, but it wasn't a ongoing thing.
Okay. You remember talking to Jason Smith on the 5th, and you said this was probably about 3 weeks ago. We had an argument or whatnot, and I was like, where I would get a fuck you and a slam the door kind of shit. He just wouldn't let it go. It just seemed like he was wanting to, instead of back off a fight, like he was really wanting to fight.
That's what I told Smith.
On the 5th. And you said it was probably about 3 weeks ago, which would put it around August 11th time.
Yeah, and I think I told Smith too. And these days after, the day after and day after talking to Smith, there was a lot going on. I was not.
Well, I know I'm not holding you to a specific date on that kind of stuff, but you said about 3 weeks before, and that would be around this time period. Okay, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and he's asking you for 150 rounds of ammunition, and he's still in that wanting to fight you.
Not every day, no, sir.
Well, of course, not every day. Let's go to the 13th. That's the day you went to Appalachia to get Colt's schedule. We already talked about, and you met with Lisa Butler,
Right.
and she introduced yourself as the school counselor.
She did.
Okay, you said nothing to her about Colt needing counseling.
I did not at that point, I don't think.
Okay. So the next day is the 14th.
We also had a school tour.
Yeah, she talked about that. On the 14th is Colt's first day of school,
Correct.
and he had already missed the first 2 weeks of school,
Correct.
and he did not want to go, did he?
I think his comment to me was he was scared. He was a little nervous.
Okay. And he made threats of violence that morning before school to you in 2 texts, didn't he?
I need to see the text. I'm not sure what you're
All
talking
right,
about.
let's pull him up.
Yeah.
Nose.
Mhm.
I'm sick of your shit. This is the fucking end for you.
Mhm.
There's no.
Yeah, I know.
No more apologies. I fucking had it with you.
Mhm.
The way you twist shit is so old. I have no idea what ATP means.
Me either.
Okay. But I'm being told it means at this point.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And then you fucking caused this.
Okay.
No mention of Marcy. Whenever something happens, just know the blood is on your hands. Fuck you.
Correct.
And this is at 6:49 through 6:51 a.m. before Colt goes to school.
Yep.
And that's his first day of attending school since May 21st, 2023,
Yep.
when Jackson County came to your door about threats to shoot up a school.
Yes, sir.
Did those texts alarm you?
They did, but I kind of knew what they were about.
I think you testified about, you kind of knew what they were about?
Yeah.
You're just guessing? Does Colt still have the rifle in his room at this time?
I'm not aware of the rifle maybe being in his room at that time.
Okay, so let's look at this picture we have. That was modified on August 3rd. That's Colt's room, isn't it?
That is his room,
And that's the tactical vest you ordered for him.
correct?
Now, you took Colt to school that morning, didn't you?
I believe I did on his first day. I can't really remember.
But you did not go inside to tell anyone about those texts?
I did not. And I wasn't aware of that picture either.
I understand. But the rifle is in his room, isn't it?
In that picture, it is. I don't know when it was taken. I don't know where I was.
Well, sometime after he dyed his hair.
Yep.
And before August 3rd.
In that time frame, I don't know where I was, what time it was. I had no idea that picture existed till I saw it the other day sitting in his courtroom.
And now at this time, you and Marcy had been talking about Colt needing serious psychological help, weren't you?
Marcy was bringing that up. Yes, sir.
Okay. And she was telling you y'all discussed inpatient treatment for him.
She did.
She did, not you.
Yes, I didn't believe he needed inpatient treatment at that point.
All right. And you actually talked to Investigator Smith, and he says, have you been in communication with Marcy about any kind of stuff for him, any kind of like mental health? And you said, yeah, her and I talked about that. And she was like, he needs help at another level. And Smith asked, what does she mean by that? And you say, she means like checked into a place.
Mhm.
And he says, when did she make that comment? And you say, recently, while this has been going on. So she's telling you Colt needs to be checked into a place.
She is.
Okay. Now, the next day, on August 15th, so this was his first day at school where he says the blood will be on your hands. And now we moved on to the next day, Colt skipped school, correct?
I was told, I think by Colt, I'm in school.
But he wasn't.
I found out later that he was not.
So he skipped school his second day.
Yep. I received a text, I believe, from him, said he was at school. I texted him, asked, did you go to school? He said, yes. And I think I said, have a good day. I'm proud of you.
Okay. And him and Marcy have a physical confrontation,
And what was that day?
August 15th.
Yeah, that's
It's a
the day.
Thursday.
That's the day they had the issue.
Okay. And the issue was about the gun in his room.
No, originally I thought the issue was about, Colt made mention to me that she was either drunk or high.
Okay. That's Colt's version.
That's Colt telling me in the very beginning.
Okay. But she told you that it was about the gun in his room. And she wanted it put away and out of the house.
That she was actually in the house, that staying with us. I thought that he had went to school. Text, as stated, she did not even know that he had not left the house and went to school. So the version I got from her was, yes, he and I had an argument, I think is how she posed that. And then somehow she said something about the gun and Colt not wanting to give it to her or something. I'm not sure exactly how that story went.
Okay. Do you remember telling Investigator Smith that she said something about the way you're acting? I'm going to talk to your daddy and we're going to have to take these guns and get them out of the house. And what she said is he flew off the bed. She said she went down in there and said, you need to get your shit straight, go to school, and we need to just get these guns put up. And that's when they went from bad to worse. And she said she was going out of his bedroom and he pushed her and she hit the door of the wall and the side of her head. And it's like, okay, I'm on the way home. Remember telling Investigator Smith that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. So she's telling you that she wanted the guns out of the house. He loses his mind, flies off the bed at her and pushes her and she hits her head. That's what you're being told by her.
That's her version of it. Yes, sir.
Okay. And Colt texts you at 11:04 that a.m. and tells you about that. Correct?
Part of it. Yes, sir.
So let's pull up the mama. Okay. So at 11:04, he's texting you, Mama just attacked me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then tried to grab my gun.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's kind of accurate what she was saying.
No, she was saying that he had his gun or was doing something with his gun, and his version of he was nowhere near his gun. It was just sitting in the corner of his room. And she came in and went for it, is what he said for me.
But it was an argument about his gun.
I think it was an argument about school, his attitude, not wanting to go, just a kind of a rift that they had always had, to be honest with you.
Okay. But this is an argument involving the gun.
Yeah, this is the first time, to my knowledge, that we had ever had any issue with a gun being in our house. Nobody ever went for a gun, used it aggressively, or even in our arguments Colt and I had, the gun was never, ever touched, made reference to. The first time the gun ever was involved was when Marcy went for it, according to Colt.
So never, 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 ever, ever, never until this day.
As far as in an aggressive or negative manner.
Okay. And this is the day after he made that text about the blood being on your hands.
Right, and I think I stated, I took that blood on your hands as he thought that his mama may go through with the threat to kill him.
Okay.
That's how I read that text. That's how I took it. in
You
the
took it that
argument.
he's scared of his mother killing him.
Whatever they were arguing about, I don't think he ever got over that statement that she made.
That's not in any of his texts to you.
No, it's not. And
You just thought that.
that's just how I perceive that.
Okay. So you're going through this month thinking in your head, Colt's terrified of his mother killing him.
Not terrified. I just think that he had that thought in the back of his head.
And this is the woman you went and picked up and brought back to your house to live with Colt.
This is the woman I went and picked up after we went several family visits, Colt and I, to rehab to see that she was doing better. Had earned her chip. And I was told that she was to a point where she could be released and that she had permission and her parents were on board. So I went and got her.
Well, what about Colt?
Colt was on board. He went down there for family days with me.
I thought you just said that you were worried that Colt was afraid she'd kill him.
In that argument,
So you have a child that's afraid of their parent killing them and you're going to bring her into your house?
not afraid of killing him. I'm just saying he always had that, we both had that thought,
Okay. Well, let's see the text that he sent. This is at 1:52. Do this. So Colt texted you, she was grabbing for my rifle. I didn't know what she planned to do with it, so I kind of acted in flight or fight, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, I got ahead.
That's okay. I know what's coming.
And then you say, it's all good. Why was the gun involved?
Yes, sir.
I mean, that kind of disturbs you that there's a gun involved in this, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the first time that a gun was, involved in any kind of argument or altercation.
Okay. And then he writes, I don't know. She backed me into my room and started talking about, oh, you're going to get your gun, even though I wasn't. And then she grabbed it.
Yes, sir.
So the gun is in his room.
It was on that day.
Okay. And it was after that day, that she asked you to get rid of the guns.
She asked me to put the guns up.
And you agreed that you would do that.
Yep, put them up where they normally are up, and there's not been an issue.
And you didn't do any of that
I did. I put them all back up in my closet,
in your closet.
in that top shelf
Okay.
where they've sat.
And so I think you talked to Smith. What did Marcy ask you about the guns? What did she say to you about the guns? And you said, she just said after the confrontation she had with Colt, she was like, you just need to put them up or get rid of them. And I said, okay. And he says, did you put them up or get rid of them? And you said, they're up. And I didn't. My thought was, I'm going to have a conversation with Colt about this. So putting them up for you is in an unlocked closet
Yes, sir.
on a shelf.
Yes, sir.
And you're not home during the day.
Not home during the day.
Colt is.
He was.
And you didn't do anything else to make the guns more secure from Colt.
No, sir. To that point, I didn't. There was no perceived threat from Colt.
Okay. In fact, later the same day at 3:48, Colt texts you, asks you to buy the Fariachi bore sight with the red laser bore sight and 3 sets of batteries from Amazon. He says, could you please buy this?
Correct. That was in reference to us going the following weekend to the range
Okay. And you ordered it for him the very next morning.
for him and myself.
Okay.
That was a accessory we both used on our rifles.
The morning after he had a physical confrontation with your wife holding the gun.
He wasn't holding the gun. She was.
That's not what
She
She said.
I'm sure that's what she said, but he told me she went for the gun. So I put him up.
So the 16th, you order him the Fariachi bore sight at 6:25, and at 8:57, Colt sends you a text. They also talked about the holes in the door. And that's referring to the holes Colt put in the two doors, correct?
Yeah, the one headbutt where he tripped, I think was an accidental thing. I don't think he was doing that on purpose. In fact, I know he wasn't.
Okay. So this isn't the first house Colt has put holes in, is it? Didn't he put a hole in the house in Jefferson in 2022?
I don't know if I'm aware of that, of a hole he put in the wall.
Okay, and of course he broke the window down in Fitzgerald.
Yeah, he slammed the door and broke a pane. He just cracked it. It really.
And at 9 a.m. he sends you the text. Sends you this text. I am restraining myself as for what I feel like doing right now. I have barely any control over. So he's telling you he's losing control over himself, isn't he?
I wasn't sure what was happening with him at that moment. I was not there.
Okay. So that's the day that Marcy leaves and goes back to Fitzgerald.
So that's the day we all thought he was in school. Marcy was in the house, didn't know he went to school. Debbie, Charlie, everybody comes up.
Yep.
He's hiding in the closet.
Right.
And I later learned what those texts were about. He was sitting there listening to the conversations going on in the house.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when they go to leave, he comes flying out of the house and has a violent outburst with them.
I heard multiple stories of what happened.
Okay.
I heard Colt and I heard Marcy's version of it.
Okay. That would have been his second violent outburst in 2 days.
According to Marcy.
Okay. And when Marcy and Charlie and Debbie leave, they come to your work.
They
Meet
do
you
there. They come to the Rockdale Fire Station I was building.
where you were, and they meet you.
Correct.
And they tell you about what Colt had done, come flying out, threatening to kill them, and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, she didn't necessarily, I don't think she mentioned the word kill or anything like that. She said that they were taken back, didn't know that he was in the house till he showed up at the door. And I think he was cursing at Charlie about being in our house.
Did Debbie talk to you about those awful emails that we went over in court that day that she got from Colt?
Do you have them?
I don't have them with me, but you remember when she testified all about the fuck you and your God and all that, hope you all die?
Oh, to Debbie?
Debbie.
I remember.
And that was in the aftermath of this, wasn't it?
I believe it was.
And did you see those? Did they talk to you about that?
I don't think Debbie talked to me about those emails at all.
Okay. Well, when they come meet with you, do they tell you about Colt acting this way?
What they had told me was he came to the door, surprised everybody, and was pissed off about Charlie being in the house and Namu talking about calling DeFax on me.
Well, let me ask you this. What they described to you of how Colt was acting, did it disturb you?
I wasn't surprised. He was mad. I wasn't surprised at that. I was actually mad that what was happening inside of the house. I was also upset that he had lied about going to school again. So there were multiple things I was upset about, actually. But what he was telling me was going on, being said in the house, I was upset. Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's talk about specifically your thoughts about Colt.
Okay.
As they're talking to you at this fire station that you're working at. Does it worry you, what they're describing, does it worry you about Colt, about how he is in his emotional state?
It didn't worry me to the point because I knew he was pissed about Charlie because Charlie had threatened and had called the police on him prior down in Fitzgerald. They did not like each other and had multiple run-ins.
Okay. So your testimony today is that you were not worried about Colt being like a troubled teen or upset or anything like that.
Well, I was concerned about him being upset for sure. I was concerned about him not being in school again. So yeah, to say I was not concerned, no, I was concerned.
Okay. But you were worried about Colt's emotional state at this point, based on what they told you.
I was worried about him being upset again after I've worked really hard to kind of keep things calm, and upset about him not being in school.
Okay. And they gave you the Zoloft for Colt to keep giving him the Zoloft, didn't they?
Yes, she gave me a Ziploc bag of broken up little pills. I wasn't sure what they were at the time.
Okay. So I want to pull up a text that Debbie sent to Colt. I think it's already in evidence at 10:21 a.m.
Let's actually come back to that. I think indicated yours was great. Go ahead, take 10.
Okay, so we'll move past this break, of course. You know, like they were walking on eggshells in this house. And It's like, we don't want to mess with Cole. We don't want to upset Cole. We don't want to do this to Cole. We don't want. What is this man talking about? Cole was running this entire household, guys. This entire household. I have never seen anything like this. I know he had a run in with this person, so this is why I didn't do this. This is why I didn't do that. Or I didn't know about this. I didn't know about that. But you know about all these things. Like, they knew about all these things. Like, you don't find that creepy that he just sitting in the closet and just jumps out, scaring everybody, and then get mad at everybody. Everybody walking on eggshells because of Cole. Like, I bet you that Jenny, the daughter, she said it on the stand, so I ain't even got to guess. She do not want to go nowhere near none of these people, none of these mofos, as Drunky would say. All these mofos can lose her number. She ain't trying to talk to them. She don't want to go back to them. She want them all to be up under the jail cell. Like, the way they were tormented in this household because of one person. And they just kept giving him stuff. Here, you do this, you get this. You do this, you get that. Like, they were trying to appease him and make him happy when all he was doing was going and doing more and more and more and more. He was like a juvenile delinquent that they should have had in some type of place getting some help. I mean, this started in first grade. I was nowhere near aware of how long he had been having these issues, guys. Like, they bringing in records from when he was in the first grade and he had a behavioral health IEP. I have never even heard of one of those. Like, what are we doing here? Like, he had to be scared of him. Like, I would appreciate him more if he just got up here and said that I was scared of my son. I didn't know what to do with my son. I love my son so much, and I was scared of him. Like, because this stuff he's talking about right now is about getting on my nerves. He said he didn't even know they were for behavioral. He don't know. He don't know nothing. He said Marcy was taking care of that. Marcy was taking care of the money. Marcy was out here doing her 1-2, because she was out here on that stuff. So Marcy was doing all of this stuff, and not paying the bills. They stuff on the road. Like, this is ridiculous. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, she lived in another time at that point in time, but they was together, during the early years. Like, and she was probably handling everything with the school and everything like that. And I kind of get that, but when you have problems with your kids, regardless if I'm the one that's taking care of everything with the kids, when problems start to arise in school and stuff, like, yeah, I'm saying something to my significant other. I'm saying something, right? I'm talking. I'm saying, only for even a stress reliever. So I could imagine Marcy was like, well, he messing up in school and they didn't put him on a behavior IEP. And we talk about in the first grade. No, we ain't doing that. He would have never made it in my household. That's crazy. Like, he would have never even made it. Oh, the cross is surgical. I think that he cutting him up in every which way that he can possibly cut him up. And this is when they get surgical with it. Like, every time he's slicing it and cutting up his story just nice with precision. Anything he coming with a messed up answer, my guy coming right back with it. Like, well, no, you said this. Well, no, you said that. Oh, he getting it right together. Yeah, he was like a troubled kid. Like, this is, you talk about at 5 and 6 years old, guys, a troubled kid. Like, if they would have intervened early, maybe, they could have got him the proper help that he needed. But they didn't even try to do that. And you know why they didn't do that? Dad didn't go get the medication that was needed. The reason why they didn't go do this stuff is because they was too busy with their own lives and what they had going on. To make a doctor's appointment, that means you got to take time out of your schedule. So no, we just going to give them the Zoloft. Mom got Zoloft. She says this, and we just going to give them that. Oh, need counseling appointments? Oh, I ain't got time for counseling appointments, not anything outside of it. So let's make sure we can get them hooked up with counseling in school. he didn't want to take the time to do all this extra stuff and different things that you may have to do for kids like that are struggling or that have these mental health issues, and especially like chasing the kids around the house, chasing his sister around the house, coming out of closets like he boogeyman. Like, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing? He still act like he's scared of this boy. He's still on the stand trying to protect this little boy. Oh, he wasn't, we wasn't arguing. We were just talking, but he threw a screwdriver at me. Okay. That sounds like more than just talking. Well, my back was turned. Okay. Like it's always something that he is trying to like give his son too much credit. Like, God, Cole, you was running him. Boy ran right over him. He definitely wasn't wearing the pants. But let me put us back in here.
Tell us when you're ready.
Yes, sir.
Let me see.
So, Mr. Gray, we were just talking about August 16th, and this is when Debbie's parents come, Marcy's parents, Debbie and Charlie come get her. According to them, Colt has a outburst where he threatens to kill everyone at the house. They drive to your work, give you the Zoloft. They tell you their version of events, correct?
I don't know about the threat to kill everybody in the house. That's not what I was told, but the rest of this is accurate.
Okay. And I'm not showing this so much to go to the contents. It's more the timing.
Okay.
So this is sent at 10:21, because remember it says UTC plus 0, we're UTC minus 4.
Okay.
So it's actually 10:21, not 2:21. So this is still mid-morning.
Okay.
And she's saying we gave your medicine to your dad. So this would have been after you've had that encounter with Debbie and Marcy and Charlie, correct? Assuming that's correct.
Yeah, if they came to my work, that was after everything happened at the house.
Okay, and they've given you their version of events of what happened at the house.
Well, Marcy gave me hers.
Okay, so that's the only one you talked to was Marcy?
Right.
Okay. So that's at 10:21. 10 minutes later, you start doing some searches at 10:31 a.m. You search troubled teen options near Athens, Georgia. That's at 10:31. So you kind of believed Marcy a little bit, didn't you?
Well, this was the ongoing conversations that we were having where I was trying to figure out what would be best for Colt.
Because he's a troubled teen, isn't he?
I think they all have been through more, all the children and myself, than the normal person would, yes.
Okay, so after you look here, you then visit at 10:32 Eagle Overlook Recovery.
Correct.
Okay, we're going to go to that website there. And that's a treatment center for teens in Georgia.
Correct.
Okay, and then you go to Wolf Creek Academy, and that is here.
Right.
Now, that's a boarding school.
Right.
Okay. Now, at 11:46, so that would have been around 10:30 or whatever. 11:46, so about an hour later, in the midst of your searching for psychiatric options, Colt texts you again. Hey, if we could get 150 rounds, that's fine. But could we get at least 50? So you haven't taken the guns away, and he's pestering you for more ammunition,
About the upcoming weekend to go
And-
shooting.
and you know he's emotionally unstable.
I know that he's in my thought process that, he may have temper issues.
Okay. So 11:55, so 10 minutes after that, you search child psychology.
Right.
And then at 12:24, you search hope, anger management, help overcome personal emotions.
Right.
Okay. And you found a counselor center you liked, Enlightenment Counseling.
It's the one I decided to reach out to. I wouldn't say liked, it's just the one I picked to reach out to.
Okay. And that was at 12:41. So we're still that midday of the 16th.
Right.
You send a submission contact form to Enlightenment Counseling.
Yes, sir.
And it says, I'm a working dad of 3. Colt is my oldest, 14 years old. We've had a very difficult past couple of years, and he needs help. Anger, anxiety, quick to be volatile.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I have United Healthcare. Can you help?
Right.
Anger, anxiety, quick to be volatile. Does that sound like a child who should have access to an assault rifle?
To that point, even with his anger and being volatile at points and times, there was never any kind of threat or comment made from him about using a weapon negatively or otherwise.
Okay. And she responds pretty quick to you, 37 minutes later.
Yep.
Thank you so much for reaching out. Would you mind sending me your number? I can give you a call, discuss services. It'd be a good fit for Colt. I've definitely worked with teenagers before that. You have gone through the things he's experiencing. It sounds good. I can go ahead and send out paperwork and get services started for him.
Right.
So she's good to go, right?
Yep.
Okay. And you respond back to her about getting a number. And if you miss it, please leave a message and you will call ASAP.
Right.
Now, at 2:06, skip down the line. So 30 minutes later, Colt texts you, did you see my text? All right, and he's referring to that earlier text about getting the ammunition.
Correct.
Okay, that one was 11:46. And you respond at 2:07, yes, later, I need to pay for everything first, but we will.
Right.
We will. You're actively looking for psychiatric treatment, but you're going to get him more ammunition.
I'm actively looking for anger management to try to help calm him down and ways I could deal with that. And the ammunition was in regards to what we were planning to do the following weekend on the holiday,
Okay.
which
But then at 2:52, you look for gun safes online.
that's right.
So this is all in that same time period.
Yeah.
Anger, anxiety, quick to be volatile. Now we're looking at gun safes.
Yeah, we're looking at gun safes because the first time that the gun had ever come into play in any kind of issue that I've ever had at my house was when Marcy was there and she went for the gun. So up until that point, there was never a threat, never any kind of thought process of him doing anything with a gun.
Are you saying that you looked at this because you were afraid of Marcy with the gun?
No, I was just looking at options to put my guns up maybe in a better manner than in my closet.
Right. Because Marcy's already left and gone home to Fitzgerald.
Correct.
Okay. So this is gun safes because you know things have changed and you need to do something to lock those guns up better than you are.
This was a search, again, that, I started looking around because I knew Marcy would be back at some point, and there'd never been an issue with a gun in my house, however it was stored. So I started looking around at what we could do. And
Are you trying to insinuate that you're doing this because you're afraid of Marcy with the gun?
That's argument.
I'm asking him a question. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not putting the blame on anybody. I'm just saying the gun came into play for the first time.
Right, because Marcy came up there because you went and got her and brought her up there, and now she's gone. And the only way for her to get back up there is for you to allow it. So the gun safe's not for her, is it?
Well, no, she had showed up at the house unannounced before, and Debbie would bring her up to the house whether I had planned for it or not. So
Not that summer.
I'm just talking over the past.
Over the
I can't-
past 17 years you were married to her? Like, what are we talking about here?
I don't know. I can't give you exact dates.
Not that summer. That summer, you picked her up from the rehab,
Mhm.
brought her to your house,
Right.
and she stayed there until her parents came and took her back. And you have authority of whether or not she comes back to your house.
I went and picked her up under the understanding that she had crossed certain hurdles and horizons in rehab, and she was going to continue those efforts and wanted to be near her kids. And I was trying to, help her with that. And the gun safe was just something I thought after that episode, no matter whose fault, the gun came into play for the first time that, in an argument situation. So I started looking around for gun safes.
Because at that point, none of it had ever been locked up.
They had never been locked up in a safe, and they'd never come into play in any type of argument or heated situation.
So let's show a clip of you had with Jason Smith on the 5th, where you were talking about the gun safe and stuff.
Mhm.
It looks with what had happened, for me to tell you, it was an agreement by God. We've never had this weapon in our house. We had a long conversation with Colin about it, but it would never been there. And it was just those like, like, these are the sort of games. How we go with the words and just get through all this. I was just sitting here thinking, we sitting here telling you, I threw them up in my closet, and they were up and out of reach and out of sight, like, that, it just comes across in this camera film, I guess, like, I should have done more, yeah, and I'm like,
Do you feel like you should have done more?
well, as soon as I felt like something was different, like with him, that's immediate when I was like, I need to buy this gun case, and if he continues to kind of not be who he said he was
When
going
did
to
you
be,
buy the gun case?
I have to sit in my heart and I feel afford it.
What was the catalyst for that? I remember you telling me about that.
I was saying that I think just him going back to school,
Was that after Marcy told you to put the guns up?
no, this was after him and her had that big old thing.
There was a red flag that went off for you, like, hey, I need to, like,
Well, there was okay, until we can get him some help and everybody calm, I just need to do the right thing and just get him put up or out of the house, like either way. Like, and that was known, that was coming. I had to pay $78 more this week to buy it. So it's still sitting around in my car, for $134.
And that was after the incident last week with
With
him.
Marcy, him and his mom. So
You
really,
came up last week.
yeah, and really I was debating like this week, like, well, if he goes to school, then I may just come home and take everything up to my, just come to hold on to him for a while, just until I make sure everybody's like.
Why didn't you do that last week?
So Jason Smith asked you, do you feel like you should have done more? And you said, as soon as I felt something was different, like with him, that immediately when I was like, I need to buy this gun case. And if he continues to kind of not be who he said he was going to be, that was the catalyst for getting the gun safe. Him.
Him being who he was supposed to be was more going to school, doing the things he said he was going to be. And the gun safe catalyst is the gun coming even into play or being a part of an argument between anybody in the house.
And then Jason Smith asked you, so there was a red flag that went off. Hey, I need to lock these guns up. And you said, well, there was, like, yeah, until we can get him some help and everybody calm. I just need to do the right thing and just get them put up or out of the house.
Yes, sir.
So you can get him some help.
Yeah, we were in the process. There
You
was,
wanted to do the right thing.
yep, we were actually had counselors set at school, and we're in the process of doing the right thing.
So you knew the right thing to do was to not let him have access to the guns.
No, not necessarily him, just to do the right thing to make sure that a gun wasn't involved in an argument with him or Marcy or me or anybody else in that house.
But you didn't do the right thing, did you?
Immediately, no.
Okay.
As far as buying a safe, I did not buy a safe.
So you're still trying to get him counseling at this point. We're still on the 16th, same day.
Correct.
All right.
I believe counseling was dialed in and ready to go to where?
And Marcy, and you haven't done aware yet. This is on the 16th.
Okay, all right.
We'll get to the aware thing.
Okay, all right.
Okay. This is before that, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So y'all were trying to get him counseling. You just filled out the enlightenment form.
Right, okay. So yeah, I'm still
That day.
collecting who would be best.
And you're communicating with Marcy and Deborah because they want him to get counseling too.
Correct.
Okay. In fact, you send a screenshot of that enlightenment response to Deborah,
To Debbie, yeah,
and she responds, "That's awesome, Coley. Thank you."
yes,
Okay. So that all happened on the 16th.
correct.
I think you sent that enlightenment response on at 3:46.
Right.
And she's so happy that you did that.
Mhm.
At 4:35, so less than an hour later, Dawn Crook calls you, goes to voicemail. She leaves a message,
Yep.
and you never call her back.
Correct.
Let's fast forward 5 days. Now we're on August 21st. That's 5 days after the first voicemail from Dawn Crook. She calls you back again, goes to voicemail, leaves a message, and you don't call her back. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So that's at 4:26 when she leaves that voicemail. Okay. 6 minutes after that voicemail is left, at 4:32, Marcy searches Dawn Crook, Bethlehem, Georgia. Is that a coincidence?
I don't know.
Or have you told her about Dawn Crook just calling and leaving that voicemail?
I don't know how that transpired. I know that I talked to Mamu about it. So more than likely it was Debbie that had shared that with her.
Because I mean, so you told her, I just got an email from Dawn Crook, a voicemail, and and Marcy searches Dawn Crook, Bethlehem, Georgia.
Sounds like it.
Okay. Now that's at 4:32. 2 minutes later, Marcy's looking at different places. Crisis stabilization. She searches crisis stabilization, advantage behavioral health system.
Okay, yes.
Okay. And then she sends you at 4:38. So this is 12 minutes after Dawn Crook left you that voicemail that she's good to go to help with Colt. Marcy sends this. This is what Colt needs right now. They take our insurance and he will go there until he was stabilized and they figure out a treatment plan. She's talking about an inpatient here, right?
Right.
Okay. Dawn Crook is an inpatient, is she?
No.
Okay. In fact, that's at 4:38. At 4:39, you go to their website, Advantage Crisis Stabilization. And that's the one in Athens, right?
Yes, sir.
That we've been talking about.
Yes, sir.
That's at 4:39. At 6:10, Dawn Crook from Enlightenment sends you an email. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to follow up and let you know that I tried to call you to touch base on Friday. Left a message for you today as well. If you could please call me back when you have a moment to discuss details and getting services started for Colt. You never responded to that email, did you?
I don't believe I did, sir.
No, it's because you and Marcy believe Colt needs something more than just counseling.
I don't believe Marcy and I.
Why didn't you respond to her then? You set it up with her because Colt just needs counseling. That was your idea.
Yeah, I reached out to her. It was-
Okay. Marcy says, no, I think he needs to go to this place where he can be held there until he's stabilized. And that's when you just ghost Dawn Crook.
Well, that's when I, was trying to figure out what the best option was for him. I think I may have talked with Cole at some point about what his mom was researching and inpatient. I didn't,
You didn't want to do inpatient, did you?
no, I wasn't sure what inpatient meant. That's why I think I did the search, but I thought that, it wasn't to the point that she was making it out to be. This was more, she wasn't in and day out with us. I thought this was more of an anger management issue.
Right. The stuff Dawn Crook could handle.
Right. And others that I'd looked at. I wasn't, at this point, I'm still like, I'm not exactly sure what I should be doing. So I'm trying to,
Try and get some guidance.
no, I'm just trying to research what I can to understand. I know what Colt's going through day in and day out and what facilities offer and what aligned best with Colt. And I just didn't feel like inpatient was where it was at.
Did it occur to you that maybe you could get more information if you called Dawn Crook back?
She was just one of the people on the list. So no, it was just a fluid situation.
And you never contacted anyone else on the list?
No, I just continued to research.
Okay, that research thing again. All right. Now, you were worried about his violence. And you worried that he needed something more specialized, weren't you?
Are you telling me or asking me?
I'm asking you.
I just knew he had anger issues
But you
and
didn't think he needed to be in someplace.
institutionalized, no.
That wasn't you. Okay. You remember talking to Investigator Ward about that?
I may have,
Let's see what you said to her about it.
With counselors.
I was about to ask.
Yeah, and my mother-in-law is a school teacher for 40 years, like she gets it.
Okay.
And I'm like, he's gotta have specialized, it can't just, this isn't just five and dime, like may need to be checked into someplace. I said, if it continues to escalate and it goes towards his brother or sister,
Right.
then he needs to go, right.
again,
So you're telling Agent Ward, he can't just have this five and dime. He needs to be checked into someplace.
yeah, I was kind of going over the whole thing with her after, trying to explain to her what I was researching, what I was looking at for him as far as escalating to his brother and sister. In my mind, it was still the anger issue. And if he ever went to hit or do something to his brother and sister, then obviously,
Okay.
that would be
Well, let's piece this through a little bit. Isn't that, so you said, so we've been on the phone with counselors. That's not true. You've not been on the phone with anybody.
not on the phone. I think I left that email with Dawn and may have misspoke right there.
May have misspoke. Okay.
We're talking about an hour or so after the tragedy had happened. So to sit and think that I'm having a line by line conversation with the GBI in my front yard and can recall every single thing I was doing in phone calls, that's.
I understand that, but have you noticed that when you get confused and you may not say it right, you always say it exaggerating how much you did?
Exaggerating how much I did?
Yeah. Like when you're mistaken, you're mistaking the exaggeration benefit to you direction.
I don't think it was a benefit. I was trying to convey that I was not doing nothing and I was trying to do the best that I could do.
But you weren't on the phone with counselors.
There's no game plan for being a single parent.
I
I've never
understand.
been one, so
So you had not been on the phone with counselors, correct?
Had not.
Okay. And then you said he's got to have specialized. Can't just five and dime. Like he needs to be checked into someplace. Isn't that the exact opposite of what you just told us?
that was just a conversation that, I said after Marcy and I had been talking,
Let me rephrase. Or actually, no, I'm not going to rephrase. Isn't that exactly the opposite of what you just told us?
If you say that's the opposite, then that's the
You
opposite.
told us that Marcy wanted him to be institutionalized, put into a place, and you didn't think so. You were against that. You didn't agree with that. But you're telling Ward he's got to have specialized, can't just five and dime. Like he needs to be checked into someplace. Isn't that the exact opposite of what you told us?
It is the opposite. But what I left out to Agent Ward that was the conversation between Marcy and I, and still just kind of, very emotional about what happened. I did not word it correctly.
Yep. And then you say, okay, I said, if it continues to escalate, and it goes towards his brother and sister, then he needs to go. Correct?
That's what it says.
If that violence that he's had, that you've seen, continues to escalate, and it goes to his brother and sister, he needs to go.
Yes, sir.
Don't you understand that if he has a rifle, it will be too late? Argument.
Again, the rifle never came into play with anything that we were ever arguing or going through in that house. And the escalation was towards me, not his brother and sister.
Colt told you he wanted to be in an insane asylum, that he needed to be in an insane asylum.
I believe he either texted or told me that in passing that it was something him and his mother were talking about, and he was kind of off the cuff with it.
All right, I think you talked to Smith about this.
Mhm.
But
Some years ago, he was suffering from mania,
No, this is what just came up and with his mama. This is a hot one on the
the rest of you.
No, this just happened, this just happened. She was up here last week, whatever, here recently, last week.
But you, Colt never told you you suffer from mania.
To me, never heard that.
Why do you think Colt was telling me?
I don't know why he would say that, but I'm gonna tell you where I heard it. Marcy comes up, or she's going home, one or two, we start having a conversation about Cole. I'm like, when I got back, kind of said to me, we were talking about counselors in school, and she's like, well, this is what he asked me. I'm like, okay, he said, she said, I was talking to him, he said, do you think I need to be, what is it? Do you think I need to be, or how do you get into an insane asylum?
When did he say that?
here recently to his mama, and she said that to me. And I'm like, what is that? So that's kind of like another thing where, like I'm telling you, I can feel something is off, like this is not getting better.
But for you, that all feels only been the past month or so.
Like we need to do something immediately, like, yeah.
So you felt like y'all needed to do something immediately. She's telling you feel something is off.
Right,
And y'all need to do something immediately. That's what you felt.
right.
But you didn't do something immediately.
I didn't do it immediately.
Okay. Let's get to the next case. Not the word one.
About what he told,
Right.
what was it? Mania,
Yep.
whatever, was a sane asylum, and that's where I'm like, he's gotta go, like, we have to make this happen right now, something wrong.
And when was that?
That was just the other day, that his mama told me that, like, okay, we gotta make this happen.
And that's where I'm like, he's got to go. Like, we have to make this happen right now. Something's wrong.
Yes, sir.
You believed he needed to go somewhere,
I believe you need more than anger management at that point.
but you didn't make it happen.
Not that day, no, sir.
And Colt still has access to that rifle.
He does.
Okay. In fact, this photo was modified on August 21st,
Yeah, never seen that photo.
but that's him with, that's not even the rifle. That's your other gun,
Correct.
isn't it?
Never knew that happened.
But he has access to your guns, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Next day, August 22nd, Thursday, Colt skipped school. Next day, August 23rd, it's Friday, Colt skipped school. The next day, August 25th, it's a Sunday, you search Advantage Crisis Stabilization, and then you searched again 5 minutes later, Advantage Crisis Stabilization. That's that place in Athens.
Yes, sir.
That's you searching for it.
Right.
Okay. Monday, Colt had skipped school that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday before. He goes to school on that Monday, and that's the day he has the anxiety attack at school. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. And he goes to see Lisa Butler in the counselor's office. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And at 10:42 a.m., you get an incoming call from Colt. I'll pull up your records. So if you look there, this is all your phone call logs for that morning. Okay. I think the first one starts at 7:30 in the morning. And then you come down at 10:42, and that's where you get one from Colt Gray. Okay.
Yes.
And that's when he's calling to tell you that's actually, he's with Lisa at that point, correct?
Yes,
Okay. So you kind of talk to Colt and you talk to Lisa in that phone call.
correct.
Okay. And then at 10:58, so shortly after that, at 10:42, 10:42, you get an email from Lisa Butler with the Project Aware form.
Correct.
Show us that. Okay. So this is at 10:42. She sends you, and you see up there at the top says attachment Project Aware Consent for Services.
That's right.
And that's the email she gave you because y'all talked about the Project Aware, and that's the first time y'all talked about it on August 21st. Correct?
I believe so.
So going back to your phone calls that morning, you got from Colt Gray, from George Clackham. Let me leave that. Uncall. I'm just going from the top. From George Clackham to Andrew Harrington. Who's Andrew Harrington? Somebody you work with?
I think it was a subcontractor that worked for me.
Okay, so that's work. Then you got a couple of My Pretty, and that's Marcy.
Mhm.
And then again, there you go, 10:42, Colt Gray. Okay, and then some more My Pretty, Colt Gray. So you did not call up to the school that day. The school calls you through Colt, correct?
I don't think she had the right numbers that she was calling me from. So when Colt called, I answered.
But you don't call up there.
I didn't know to call. She didn't have the right number. I answered Colt's phone call.
What I'm saying is you didn't call the school that day.
I don't think I had a reason to call the school that day until Colt called me.
So you became Project Aware. You became aware of Project Aware because Colt has an anxiety attack. Lisa Butler reaches out to you through Colt, sends you the form.
Right.
That's not what you told Jason Smith, is it?
Again, there was a lot going on. Everything, I think I told Jason Smith the same thing. Everything that we talked about, timestamp, dates, it may not have been correct. It was,
Yeah.
I've been up all night with Jenny
Mhm.
and may have got orders wrong of what was going on.
Yeah.
So if you're about to show something that
Now we're gonna play something.
I said different, then I
Yeah,
did.
it's a little different.
I could not convince him to go back to school after he came back that second time. And I don't know what to do at this point. So I called up there and said, I want him to see the in-house counselor. Can we do this and set it
What's the
up?
counselor name?
Lisa, I need to look at my phone. Lisa Hughes, I think. I think she sent me an email and said, hey, they made contact at the school, and she said, we would like to bring in a third party, be aware.
Bring like third-party therapist,
Yeah,
or
it's all
psychologist or something?
Yeah, but, the awareness is account
Okay. When were they gonna do that?
this week. I had to fill out all the paperwork, which I did Thursday and Friday.
So you had an appointment this week?
Give them all permission, like, bring everybody, bring a specialized person, like,
And what were they specifically, like, treating for? Like,
they were gonna talk to him about coming to school, not worrying about what people are saying, don't be a loner, come on, get back in the swing, things at school.
and a lot of people were saying, it was at the stuff about his mom,
Yeah.
that was it, and the rest of it.
Yeah, exactly. And then he was more worried about everybody knowing that he, mom was in that bed, and that his biggest fear was failing and falling behind once he was in high school.
So the appointment this week, I'm assuming goes for like today or tomorrow.
Yeah, so they needed me to give permission, I filled out all the paperwork online, and said, thank you so much for that.
Okay.
Well, you just told him that you called up to the school because Colt needed counseling, and you talked to the counselor when you called up to school.
Correct. What I should have told him was this was the time that Debbie and I were working together on this, formulating the plan in the evening on what to do. Debbie was actually the one going to the school and communicating.
No, this is before Debbie. We'll get to that in a second.
Was
Debbie
it?
hadn't come up yet.
Okay. So there was a lot of things moving at that point in time, but as far as me calling, I don't guess I did call the school. I was trying to communicate to Jason that I had some plan in place for Colt.
Okay. So again, your confusion leads towards you looking more proactive than you actually are. You don't call up to the school and you tell them that the reason that you wanted the Project Aware came out, what they were going to talk about was making sure Colt came to school and he felt good at school. You don't mention anything to Jason Smith that what precipitated this was a panic attack at the school where he had to spend the entire day at the school nurse's office.
I didn't tell him that. No.
You didn't tell him that. And then you make the phrase, I filled out all the paperwork on Thursday and Friday. I think you've said that a couple times where your attorneys have said that through court. You filled out all the paperwork, correct? Isn't it true that the form is one page? That's it?
It's paperwork.
That's what you consider all the paperwork. But you filled out Thursday and Friday is what you said. Colt's name.
That's what I filled out. Correct.
Now at 12:03, so that was in the morning, 10 something. At 12:03, you get an email from Karen Hope about offering Colt counseling through the school. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Could you pull that up for me? Karen Hope. Glad to have you aboard. I'm Karen Hope. She gives her email and phone number. You ever call those or text any of the email?
I did not reach out to
No, I never reached out to her.
her.
So at 12:18, you get a text from Marcy that says, been texting with Colt. He seems okay, but they have him in a conference room until he feels stable. So, I mean, that's not a good text to get until he feels stable. Colt had a pretty rough day at school, didn't he?
It sounds like he just had a kind of, like I had referred to, he doesn't like being put in the spotlight and, doesn't like everybody looking at him. So I think he kind of had a panic attack about that. Yes.
Yeah. So that night at 7:59, you order that unisex half mask.
Yeah, I don't remember ordering that half mask for him. I've seen that picture. I don't remember doing that for him.
Okay. But you don't just dispute your Amazon account records that we showed earlier.
And my bank records, but
Bank
that
records.
wasn't the first time where Colt had purchased something without me knowing.
Don't you get an email from them when they tell you? Well, if Colt is,
I'm not saying Colt did it. I'm just saying that I don't remember buying that for him.
okay. Mask arrives a couple days later, and let's go to the 27th. So that was the 26th. We'll go to the next day. Colt skipped school. In fact, he didn't go back to school that week. Does he?
No, sir.
In fact, he doesn't go back to school at all until the day of the shooting, after that panic attack, does he?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Now, Deborah
Well,
Polhamus,
Hang on, I am not sure that. And I'll have to look. There may have been some days in there where I was told or thought he was going to school.
Okay. But that day, the 27th, the day after his panic attack, that's the day Deborah Polhamus arrives at your residence.
Yes, sir. I
And
think
that's when y'all start talking about what we're going to do about Colt.
Right.
With Deborah, y'all were getting those plans together, I think you talked about.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And she's talking to you about advantage behavioral in Athens.
Her and I were talking about it because I said, hey, this is what Marcy had brought up, and I was just uncomfortable with the inpatient. So her and I were talking about that.
I thought we just went through all the interviews with Jason Smith and Kelsey Ward where you were saying he needs to go somewhere.
Yeah, I don't dispute
Okay.
that, but Debbie and I were talking about that as well.
Well, it just sounded like you were going back to the whole, I didn't want him to go inpatient.
No, I'm just telling you what we were talking
So
about.
she's talking about advantage again. In fact, she had called them on the way up there. We saw the phone records.
Right.
Okay. And that's when she tells you Saturday, nobody's there on Saturdays. I mean, no, they're not crowded on Saturday. It's a good day to go, didn't she?
She said I could take him anytime.
Anytime you want. Anytime there's an issue.
Right. Saturday wasn't like Dad said.
But Saturday was a good day, wasn't it? A good day to do it, according to her.
Yeah, she said it was any day was good.
But she specifically pointed out Saturday being a good day because they would not be crowded that day.
Yes, she said Saturday or any day would be good.
All right. Now, going to that Wednesday at 7:44 a.m., Colt texts you a text. I have to kind of dance around the inconvenient truth at times. I have no control over what these things say and tell me to do. Is this the first time Colt has said anything to you about voices telling him to do things?
I don't know. He's telling me voices. I don't really remember this text.
Smart read, says it was read 7:45.
I mean, I obviously I
it the
read
next
it,
minute.
but I don't remember, him saying anything about voices or anything like that. It was an odd text that I got from him.
You don't
yes.
have a recollection of I have to kind of dance around the inconvenient truth at times. I have no
No,
control over what these things say and tell me to do. That doesn't scare you?
It was just an odd text.
Well, 1 minute later, you text Marcy, call me.
Right.
And she immediately calls you at 7:46.
Mhm.
And you talk for 6 minutes and 42 seconds. Correct?
Yep.
And that was about that text you just got from Colt.
It may have been. I'm not sure what we talked about.
You two were communicating regularly about your concerns with Colt.
We were communicating about everything all the time. So it's hard to say.
And within 2 minutes of getting off the phone with Marcy, you receive an email from Jade Baker at 7:54 a.m. And it says, "You are so welcome, Mr. Gray," because you had sent one earlier saying thank you. "You're so welcome, Mr. Gray. I'm the clinician who will be working with Colt. I plan to begin working with him early next week. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I'm looking forward to supporting Colt. Have a wonderful day." And she gives her cell phone number.
Yep.
You didn't respond with any questions or concerns, did you?
Not in an email, no, sir.
Getting a text from Colt that he hears voices 10 minutes earlier telling him things to do that doesn't rise to the level of a question or a concern?
Not through an email. I just kind of felt like, we had engaged this place. I wanted to kind of bring everything that had happened and was going on and sit down face to face and explain it with them.
Later that morning at 9:52, Colt texts Marcy, "There are people after me, and I don't like it, my teachers. I feel as if they're plotting against me. Somehow I feel like they'll hurt me, and I stayed home again." That's just 2 hours after the voices text that you got.
Yeah, I had no idea about that text. I wasn't on it.
Yeah, but you knew that he thought the teachers were out to get him.
No, I didn't know that.
You don't remember Colt telling you that he feels like the math teacher was out to get him?
I remember having a conversation and asking him about what he said to me. And the conversation was more about him kind of being called out in front of others in the classroom and asked to answer a question kind of in front of everybody, that she was more kind of not after him, but just kind of putting the spotlight on him.
That didn't raise to a concern that you would want to share with Jade Baker?
Not at that point. I knew that he was worried about being in school, and as I said before, he didn't like the spotlight. He didn't like having to be standing in a room full of people he really didn't know yet and answering questions maybe he didn't have the right answer for.
So in one day, Colt talks about having no control over the voices in his head, and they're telling him to do things.
Yeah, he never said voices there.
He says these things,
He just said these things. That's like I said, it was an odd text. He never said voices.
and he still has that gun, doesn't he?
We all have them, and they're in the closets.
Oh, they're in the closet?
Yeah, most of the time. They weren't in there every single day.
No, they weren't.
Had no
There's
idea.
that mask.
I had no idea that picture ever existed. Don't know when he took it. Don't know where I was.
Well,
Don't
there
know
was
what time of day.
testimony
it
that
was.
that was on the 28th,
Right.
that picture was taken.
I've
You got the
never,
mask on the 27th.
I'm trying to explain to you, I've never seen this picture
I know you
before.
haven't. I know you haven't. You said that already.
Right, so,
But what I'm saying is the picture itself is evidence, isn't it? Colt has that gun after he had the mask,
yep,
which was delivered on the 27th. And this picture's on the 28th.
and that I had no idea that he had the gun or when
But he does, is what I'm saying.
obviously.
Obviously. The same day he talks about having no control over what these things say and tell me to do. Let's go. And now this is on the 28th. This is exactly 1 week before he kills 4 people. Let's move to the next day, the 3rd, August 29th. It's a Thursday. Colt skips school again. Now at this point, Marcy, at 2:59 p.m., she Googles school shooter Nick. And then at 3 p.m., she Googles school shooter parents charged with manslaughter. And then Marcy looks at a CNN article, what James Crumley's manslaughter conviction means for parents. And then at 3:05, just 6 minutes after the first search, she Googles, why were Ethan Crumley parents charged? And then Googles what led to James and Jennifer Crumley's guilty verdict. And then 4 minutes later, Googles safe storage laws, Georgia. And then 1 minute later, safe storage laws, Georgia. And then 1 minute after that, looks up Giffords, which is that thing we saw about safe storage and saving kids from gun violence. That's a lot of searches in 15 minutes for Marcy, isn't it?
I have no idea what she's texting or researching or when she's doing it.
She's not discussing these issues with you?
No,
I mean, for 15 minutes, that's all that's on her mind. Parents getting charged for a school shooting, gun safety, locking guns up. She's searching just that for 15 minutes straight
she never told me anything about searching any of those.
because she called you right after.
Correct.
All right. There's all her searches.
Yeah, I've seen this.
She calls you the very next minute at 3:52.
Mhm.
Or you call her at 3:55. You call her back at 3:55.
I don't think I answered when she called. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
so you call her back at 3:55.
Correct.
All she'd been thinking about before she called you was this
I have
parents being charged with a school shooter,
no idea what she's thinking about.
and y'all talk for 14 minutes.
Correct.
Okay. And as soon as you guys hang up, because she called it 3:55, you go 14 minutes from that. Now you're 4:11, 14 minutes later, she looks up again what led to James and Jennifer Crumley's guilty verdict.
Okay.
All she's thinking about, calls you, talks for 14 minutes. The minute she hangs up, right back to it.
Okay.
And she never mentioned it to you at all?
She didn't mention it to me.
That's wow. Cool. Okay.
Do you want to know what we talked about or
Couldn't care less.
Yes.
I apologize, Your Honor.
you don't want to know what the phone call was that I called her about? Does that matter?
It doesn't really to me.
Okay.
So she goes right back, and then you call her right back.
Okay.
4:19. You call her again at 8:09.
Mhm.
You call her again at 5:03. You call her again at 5:12. You call her at 5:31. You call her at 5:41. That's 6 calls from you to Marcy in less than hour and a half. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And then again, as soon as y'all stop talking, she goes right back to searching the same things. Let's go to the next day, August 30th, Friday. It's a holiday. Colt texts you that morning, you forgot to give me my Zoloft. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So you're giving him the Zoloft.
I was not giving him the Zoloft.
Well, Marcy left on the 16th,
Oh, no, she did.
and you had the Zoloft
She gave me the Zoloft in a Ziploc bag. Yes, sir.
on the 16th.
I believe that's when it was.
All right, so this is 2 weeks later.
Right.
Colt takes it every day, right?
Not from me. He had been taking it prior with her,
Every day.
I guess.
Okay. So 2 weeks after he hadn't been getting it is the first time he ever says, you forgot to give me my Zoloft.
Correct. We had conversations about the way I received the Zoloft and what it looked like in the Ziploc bag. Up until that point, I was under the understanding that, she had talked to her doctor or what have you, and it was just in a Ziploc bag. And I didn't, I never really felt comfortable with the Zoloft with her and giving it to him. So I would forget to give him his Zoloft. I had actually put it up in a cabinet. And really, there was a stretch of time when he wasn't always acting out. And he wouldn't ask me for Zoloft, and I wouldn't give it to him.
But you gave him Zoloft at some point.
I don't think I ever gave him Zoloft, which ends up being some of the arguments that we had was him wanting it. And I just didn't feel comfortable knowing that she broke apart her pills into this smaller section of Zoloft.
Mr. Ray, I don't want to cut you off. I'm having a hard time following what you're saying.
Sure.
Let me ask you this question.
Right.
She leaves on the 16th, gives you the Zoloft.
Yep.
On the August 17th, does Colt say, you forgot my Zoloft?
When was that text?
I'm asking about the 17th.
Oh, I don't know.
That was the 30th.
Yeah, no, I don't think.
So now on the 17th, the 18th, 19th,
Not that
20th,
not that I can remember.
21st, 22nd, 20. Stop me when you remember one. 23rd,
That I gave him Zoloft?
23rd,
I was against the Zoloft.
24th,
Not that I can
25th.
recall, I don't think.
26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. So all of those days, you have not been giving Colt Zoloft, and he wants it, doesn't he?
I don't know if he wants it. He's taking what his mama told him he needed to take.
But on the 30th, 2 weeks after he's been hanging Zoloft, he doesn't say, Dad, give me my Zoloft. Why aren't you giving me my Zoloft?
Right.
I've been asking for my Zoloft. He says, you forgot to give me my Zoloft. It sounds to me like he's implying you have given it to him before.
That was our kind of, instead of I'm not giving it to you and starting another argument over Zoloft, I would say, oh, I forgot. So I would not be giving him the Zoloft. I wasn't
So
comfortable.
that's not how you read that text, that you hadn't been given it and you forgot that day.
I mean, that's how he texts his mama, but I would tell him I forgot to give him the Zoloft. I just wasn't a proponent. I didn't know enough about Zoloft to be giving it to him
All right.
in those type of dosages. So,
Okay. So at 4:39, still on the 30th, you text Marcy at picture and it says street tacos tomorrow. All right. This is on the Friday the 30th.
okay.
Okay. And she writes, hell yes, I can't wait. Me and Mama just got back from the hospital. She had to go get blood work drawn for her pre-op stuff. So
Okay.
you're planning to see Marcy on Saturday.
Originally we were.
Okay. And she's excited to come up to see you.
She was excited to see Little Colin.
Okay. So let's skip to the 31st. That's Saturday. And she texts you at 10:24, about to leave Fitz. Mamu isn't coming. Dad's birthday.
Correct.
Can you come down? So she
Right.
has to do that. And you don't respond.
Correct.
And then she texts you again, 11:35. So that's it. You're prepared to spend money on gas and everything else, go to Lake Blue Ridge, but you can't spend the gas to drive 2 hours to pick me up. That's bullshit. You know it.
Right.
You don't respond.
I don't.
Okay. And I think you said that the reason you didn't respond was because you thought you may have to work.
Couple things. What work was in flux, but communicating with Colton and Jenny about what we were planning on doing. I know Jenny was kind of reserved about not really wanting to have her mama come up. Colt was wanting to go to the shooting range. So I was just trying to keep the peace in the house. I didn't want her to come up there and start any more issues. So I decided not to go get her.
I think on the right, though, you said a few times that you might have to work that day. You weren't sure.
Yeah, it was in flux.
It was in flux.
Right.
Okay. But in reality, you were planning on watching that Georgia game on TV. It was, weren't you?
Not reality. Never really planned for a Georgia game. It was more after I didn't have to work. I think is how it worked out. Ended up either listening on the radio or watching and passing, not sitting watching the whole game.
That was at one of those college football kickoff games against Clemson down at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
I don't know what game it was.
It was a noon kickoff, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
Okay. At 10:53, you text your sister, "Go Dogs."
Right.
Okay. And then at 11:05, you send your sister another text.
Right.
I hope everything is going good for you. I need a favor if possible. I'm a couple dollars short on rent and wanted to see if I can borrow some money, and I will zell it back to you Friday.
Right.
I'm short because of copays for doctors for Colt.
Right.
That's a lie, right?
Yeah, I made that up to her.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to check him in a place so they can try to help him. Marcy didn't send this text, did she?
No, I didn't.
That's you. I think I'm going to have to check him in a place so they can try to help him. Now, this is after you filled out the Project Aware stuff.
Right.
I thought you said on direct that you weren't going to go to Athens on Saturday because the Project Aware stuff was going to work. We'd already figured out it was going to be the Project Aware, and we decided we were going to do that. Isn't that what you said on direct?
I did. I wasn't sure it was going to work.
So right here, you're still, I think I'm going to have to check him in a place so they can help him. He had on a full-on panic attack at school Wednesday. So I'm trying to get him into a psychologist in Athens.
Right.
You're talking about advantage, aren't you?
I may have been.
That's the only thing in Athens y'all been looking at, isn't it?
It is.
I'm doing the best I can, work 60 hours a week anyway, get back next week, just crap time. And then 11:35, Marcy texts you. So that's it? Oh, wrong one. So that's it? You're prepared to spend money on gas and everything? That's bullshit and you know it.
Mhm.
And again, you don't respond at all. You're still watching the game, at this time talking to your sister.
I don't know what I was specifically doing, and I did send a text to my sister.
You don't remember sending a text at 12:48. It's a dang defensive battle. Who would have thought this is going to be a low-scoring game? Like whoever has the ball last is going to win.
Yeah, I listened to a lot of Georgia games on the radio,
Yeah.
so I'm not sure about
That's what you're doing on Saturday
listening to the game.
and not going to Athens.
Correct,
It would have been a good day. Not many people there in Athens.
correct.
But you did go to Athens, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to the Guitar Center with
You went to
Cole.
the car center. Bought that fender hat, the one that he used to conceal his rifle.
Correct.
So let's go on to the Sunday, September 1st, 1 o'clock. You get a text from Marcy. Why are you doing this? You never respond. Did you?
Nope.
You two had been corresponding daily up until that Saturday. Why are you ghosting her all of a sudden?
This was just a kind of the ongoing thing that Marcy did throughout the years. And, once I said I wasn't sure if work was in flux, it started an argument. I knew it was going to, and I was just trying to keep it from getting what it typically ended up being through the years.
This is what Marcy does through the years. You're the one ghosting her.
I'm ghosting her because of how she's done things through the years. Just trying to not let this turn into an episode.
It wasn't an argument about the fact that you weren't coming to get her so y'all could go to Athens behavioral help.
This was an argument about not coming down there to get her at all so she could see little Coley.
Why didn't you?
Why didn't I? Because work was in flux. It's a 9-hour ride. And my older two kids weren't really jazzed about her being there.
So you just ignored the problem?
I ignored her.
Monday's a holiday, Labor Day, and then on Tuesday, Colt skipped school. Correct?
I believe so.
That brings us to the 4th. Chinny sends you a lot of text messages. Not going to go through all of them. I'm in lockdown. 3 people are dead at the high school. You ask, how do you know? How do you know? People are saying there was an email. Please, I'm scared. I can't call you. I'm in lockdown. Did you talk to Colt today? Are you coming to the school? You reply, yes. And 11:15, I'm on the way. Have you heard from Colt? And then at 12:19, you text Jenny, have you talked to your brother? She replies, no. But I think we were thinking the same thing, and I don't want to talk about it over text. And then you respond, yep, 10-4. Didn't ask for clarification on what she meant. Yep, 10-4. You knew at that time it was Colt who did this, and Jenny knew too.
I didn't know that Cole had done this.
It was obvious to everyone in that house, wasn't it?
No, sir.
And then you stopped at, well, first off, you tell your boss that you have to leave because Colt broke his arm.
Correct. George is not my boss. And I told that because sometimes George can be scattered at best. So I told him that, not really sure what to tell him was going on at the school and to try to get his attention that this was something serious that I needed to go and do. So I told him that Colt had broke his arm. Yes, sir.
Is that a normal thing for you to just lie?
No, but I need to get his attention.
How about my son's school's in lockdown? My daughter said 3 people are killed. Do you think that would get George's attention?
Yeah, I don't know if I had known the killing part of that yet when I had talked to George.
How about my kid's school's in lockdown? I gotta go.
Right.
You think that would have gotten his attention?
George and I kind of had a disagreement about field day and me missing work with little Coley's. And so I don't think he's ever had any kids. So I just, it was just an off the cuff statement I made to him.
Okay. And then you stop at a gas station on the way home
I do.
and you go inside
Well,
and make a purchase.
I get $20 worth of gas, go in, pay cash for the gas and get a drink.
Don't you have to, if you're paying cash, don't you have to go in first? So they'll turn the pump on?
No, I mean, sometimes you do, but I didn't that day, no.
Okay. So you paid cash for the gas.
Right.
And then you got a drink.
Yep.
Okay. And you paid a debit card for the drink.
I think I had $5 left on my debit card. So I didn't have much money, but I just used my debit card for speed. I had $20 cash. So I got
And
that cash.
you did all $20 worth into your car.
Correct.
And knowing that there's this horrible issue at the school probably involving your son.
I didn't know it was involving my son.
You've been getting all those texts all morning.
From Jenny. Yeah, that there was a lockdown.
What about the text from Colt? Y'all were freaking out about Colt. Remember those texts?
Yes.
You're freaking out. Calling Marcy. Calling the school. Jenny's school's in lockdown.
Marcy called the school.
But you didn't go to Jenny. You went straight home.
Jenny, I think at some point told me that she was in lockdown and to come to the school, they weren't letting her out yet. So I went home.
Okay. And you went straight to Colt's bedroom.
No, I went to my bedroom first.
That's right. You checked. You pulled the
All
clothes
clothes
off your guns to see if they were still there.
Correct.
You kind of frantic at this point.
Originally I thought he'd skip school because I heard the TV on and then thought, okay, the gun's not in my room. So I went to his room and looked and didn't see the gun in there either.
Okay. But you went to your room first.
Correct.
To your closet.
Yes.
That's where the gun's supposed to be.
Up on that shelf.
And
Yes,
you
sir.
pull your clothes off.
Right.
And there are your guns.
Correct.
This is the picture that Heather Lashley got of your closet when she went in after this.
Right.
Did you put the clothes back?
Oh, no. Between the jeans and the blanket is really what covered them all. Just pulled it apart, set it in back.
And you set it back?
I didn't set it back. I just kind of kept it in place right there. And you can see typically it's in the middle-ish behind that little small box of ammo right there. That's where they, you just had to move that blanket, that little boggin hat, and you could see them.
Do you not remember the sentences you just said?
As far as taking clothes down, that what you're talking about?
Yeah, you described you went in there and threw the clothes away to the side.
I don't think I said
Because you-
throw. I just.
Okay,
moved
well, we'll let the
clothes.
jury decide what you
I
would
don't think I
say.
said throw them down. If I did,
All right, obviously, you're going to make all the decisions.
Right.
Go ahead and ask the next question.
So you go to his bedroom, into his bedroom,
yep.
see if the gun's in there.
Yep, look through the door.
Okay, and the gun wasn't there.
It wasn't where it typically is if he has it in his room. No, sir.
Okay. Now, investigator Gillivan talked about she went out to the house and measured.
Right.
And I think she said it was right around here. If that was the door, the wall would be about here. Does that sound about right?
Roughly.
It's not doing carpentry, but.
I'm with you.
And then my guess is the whole room, if this was the one wall, this is probably the second wall about here. That's how big a room we're talking
Yeah.
about.
I never saw the posters, if that's what you're getting.
Yeah, I know we're getting that.
Yeah, I never saw those.
Well, I
posters.
wanted to kind of get the jury to kind of idea how big this room we're talking about.
It's not a very big room.
Not
You
very.
can basically see around the room
So
from the
you,
door.
you come in, boom, corner, his head there, that's the gun. You never saw.
I never saw those posters. I sure didn't.
So the wall they were on would have been about right here, I think she testified to. And then Heather Lashley. But here.
Right.
Where's the gun? You don't see that.
No, I wasn't looking there. When I stuck my head in the door, I looked in this corner.
That corner? Well, it's not over there because you just said this is kind of the wall.
This is
So you look at this corner,
from the door. I looked down that wall into that corner
about right here,
and leave. No, it's further than that.
and you never saw that.
I never saw that. Never looked around his room. Just looked in that corner and walked out.
Okay. So when Bazinet and Townsend arrived, you arrived at the house at 12:27, based on the cell rifle location. That sound about right?
Sounds about right. Yes.
And then Bazinet and Townsend arrived at 12:32. So you're home 5 minutes total.
It was quick.
Yeah. And they arrive, and that's when you give the whole, I knew it.
Right.
Okay. And what was the explanation you gave in direct as to why you knew it?
Just the texts, the calls I got from Marcy, just trying to piece it all together, listening to the radio on the way home, gun not being in the house. It just kind of was like, oh shit, this might be gold.
Am I mistaken, or didn't you say something in direct about Marcy telling you that Colt had been obsessed with school shooters, and that's why you knew it?
Yes, she had in one of her phone calls. She said, I know this is Colt. And I said, well, something along the lines of, there's no way you need to calm down. And she said, he talked about it all the time. And I said, what?
Okay. You never gave that explanation to Townsend.
No, I didn't.
In fact, he asked. You said, I knew it. And he said, why do you think that? That'd be the perfect time to answer the question like you did on direct.
Right. Did I answer him?
Yeah, you did.
What did I say?
Let's see.
All right, come on.
No, I'm literally just what's going on. I'm over here to if we're not to leave this moment.
No, it's good.
Anybody else now?
No, sir.
You know the animals?
Nope, the only weapons are mine up in my top of my closet.
What are they?
bedroom. A shotgun and an AR.
Shotgun and AR?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing's loaded.
Okay.
We're gonna wait here till we get one more.
God. I knew it when my little girl just texted me. She's in middle school. She said, we're in lockdown. I'm like, God almighty, please tell me brother to do something.
Why do you think that? Why would you think that?
We're trying to get him into counseling. He just didn't fit in last year at high school, so we let him do online school. And we brought him back into just doing normal school this year, and he's going okay. We reached out, talked to the school, and said, "Hey, y'all got counselors. We want him to, check in." I filled out some paperwork the other day for another a third-party counselor to get involved. I think it was called Aware, but basically just gave them permission to go and talk to Cole. Can I use my phone?
No,
Give it just a minute.
This is 5 minutes. It's only 5 minutes have passed.
Mhm.
You don't say anything to him about, well, the text messages with his mom and she said something about school shooting and none of that.
Right. There's a lot on my mind at that moment.
Yeah. Talk about Project Aware with him.
Mhm.
Didn't you tell him the same thing? I called up to the school wanting to talk to the counselor.
Just conversation. It wasn't,
Yeah.
like I'm trying to say I did all these things. Just more of a making him aware of what was happening.
Okay. None of it about the Project Aware, but you didn't call up the school like you told him.
No,
And you didn't say anything to him about you knew this because of Marcy's text.
I did not at that time. No,
Okay. In fact, you had an interview with Kelsey Ward not too long after that, didn't you?
Yes, sir. I believe we covered that.
And she's talking to you about what happened, what's going on. You never mentioned it to her either about Marcy's text and school shooting. She said school shooting stuff. You never mentioned that to her either, did you?
I did not.
No. Wasn't top of mind, was it?
There's a lot.
It's top of mind today, isn't it?
It is.
But you did talk to Kelsey about the picture on the wall, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you said you saw a picture about 2 days ago, so 2 days before the shooting on Colt's wall. And you asked him who it was.
Correct.
And he says, you don't know who that is?
Yes.
And you said, no, I don't know who that is. And then you say, and then he told me that's one of the guys that did the last school shooting. And that's maybe 2 or 3 days ago. Correct?
I said that to who?
Kelsey Ward.
I think after I went back the second time and asked him who was in that picture, he said that was a person that did a school shooting, and I think I told him to take it down.
So he did tell you 2 to 3 days before the shooting that on his wall was a picture of someone that had did the last school shooting.
Did a school shooting, I think is what he said.
Okay. On your son's wall,
One picture, yes, sir.
less than 2 years, well, actually like 17 months after Jackson County had come to your house about Colt threatening to shoot up a school. He's putting a picture of a school shooter on his wall, isn't he?
He did.
And he told you that's who it was, didn't he?
He did.
And you didn't do anything to remove that gun, did you?
The gun stayed where I thought it was located.
And I want to get something straight, because Heather Lashley already talked about this. Colt's room. Here's the door. Nothing on this wall. Nothing on this wall except that little antler from the deer he shot, which is what, about this big?
Give or take.
That on that wall. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Correct?
His bedroom was moved into the laundry room at that point. That was just where he was in the computer room.
In this room, where the picture of the school shooter was,
Was his
where
computer.
that shrine was,
Was his computer room.
nothing but the deer head.
Right.
That, nothing, Nothing, nothing.
Yes, sir, but that was
The only thing on his wall, other than the deer head, is that,
not
and
his
you
bedroom.
didn't see it.
If you let him answer,
I'm trying.
cut him off.
That was not his, huh?
I said, go ahead and answer the question.
That was not in it. That was not his bedroom at the time.
Well, I don't care where he slept. That's his room.
No, it's not his bedroom.
That's his room.
his computer room.
His room.
It was a gaming room, but all the kids were in there at some point in time.
That's Colt's room.
His bedroom was moved into the laundry room.
I know that. We've
Right.
established that. But that's Colt's room.
Prior, yes, when we first moved in there, that was Colt's room.
On that day, that's Colt's room.
Okay, it's Colt's room.
Thank you. Now, the next day, on the 5th, you take Jenny to the treehouse. Correct?
Correct.
And Jenny testified that you told her to specifically lie about you not knowing who that picture was on his wall. You remember testifying to that? You said it shocked you. You remember that?
Me testifying?
No, her testifying. You remember her
I
testifying?
remember her testifying,
The
yes.
very specific lie of you telling her to lie about you knowing who that was on the wall.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. And that would have been on the 5th when they go to the treehouse. That same afternoon, after that, you have an interview with Jason Smith. Correct?
Correct.
And he's talking to you about that picture on Colt's wall. Correct?
Correct.
And you tell him the exact same lie that you had just told Jenny to make. Didn't you?
I'm not sure what I told him about that picture.
All right.
I know it came up, so it's been a minute.
When I went in and said, hey, what do you want for dinner? This was probably a week ago. And it's like, hey, I'm gonna fix some dinner. You want pizza? What do you want to do? And I'm like, who's that? And he's really into music, like learning how to play guitars and all that. He looks just, I thought it was the guy from Green Day. Like, oh my God, that's that old man from Green Day that his son, I told you, has a band. He's like, oh, that's not who that is. I'm like,
Who was it?
he never did tell me. He goes, you know who that is? I said, no, I said, I think it's that guy from Green Day. Like whoever it is, this bad glasses, he had a horn power.
Yeah.
I saw. And I laughed, he laughed, and that was that. So,
Was just one picture of?
yeah, just one picture.
How often do you go to burn?
I go in there almost every day. You know, the door's open, you go on the computer, it's dark. Hell, there's no one place that I'm in because I'm trying to, do laundry, cook dinner, take out the trash, cut the grass.
So you go in there every night, tell me night, you go in there every morning, you ever go in there, like me or my wife, sometimes we go, I'll go in there and sit down and hang out with my kids are studying.
Yeah, so he does that, and I go in there and what,
You just got one picture of glasses.
yeah, just that one right there by his computer. That was the only thing on his wall.
That was only.
Yeah, and then,
Can I show you a picture real quick?
yeah. This is the guy. None of that was up there.
No, that was up there.
That was.
Just that one.
Yeah.
That's kind of a whole lot more. Do you know who this guy is?
I have no idea.
You have no idea who that is? Can you see that
I
there?
think that's it.
Yeah, that's Deadly Toll 17.
That's it. It's time to-
No, that's a school shooter. His name is Nicholas Cruz.
That's the same guy. That's the same
Yeah,
guy.
same guy.
Okay. That's the only thing I can see.
We got pictures for the social media down here.
This is in his room?
Yes.
I'm telling you right now, I never saw any of that. There was one picture, that one, right there.
And you welcome up to go to school.
Yeah, no, here's what I was gonna tell you. So when Jenny moved in, I said, hey, you're living with us, I'm gonna give you the master bedroom, with the private bath.
Right.
I'll sleep in the bunk bed with visitors.
Mhm.
Right. So I had Colt set up on a couch out in the living room. And then when I saved up enough, I bought a queen size mattress and just bed frame, no box frame, and set it up in the laundry room, found a big room, like I was gonna make my bedroom. So the goal was like, oh, your room is packed with all this stuff that you got going on, computers and, golf clubs, all this stuff. I said, we need to start getting better sleep, so I want you to make this a room back here, and I'm sleeping in bed instead of the couch.
When you get that transition.
Probably a month ago, so he would be asleep in there. And literally there was no, like, he's on his computer, like, I'm not going in there and chit chat with him. He'll go in there and lay down or come out on the couch, and that's usually where I'm. If we're talking about school or anything going on, that's where he's at. Like,
So
he
you never.
never told me who that was. He never did in class, so I can't even know who that is.
He never told me who that was.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lie.
Well, I had forgotten to mention the second time I went back in there with him and asked him who that was, but the picture was taken down.
So you forgot to say that you knew who that was.
Yeah.
Because he asked, so he never told you? And you said he never told me who it was. Never. He never did.
Right.
There's a lot of nevers. Now, we showed all those pictures where Colt had that up in his room many times throughout the summer.
Oh, I saw some pictures of it. Yes, sir.
Sometimes, first one in April,
Mhm.
that was before he even dyed his hair. There was another one on August 13th. That's the night before his first day of school.
Correct. And those pictures are different than what's on that poster board.
Oh, no. Remember, she said it flips because the selfie.
No, I
And
mean,
if you look, see the top of it is here, and if it flips, it's exactly the same.
right.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah, but the upper parts.
It's because of the top. See, there's a gap between.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. That's the night before his first day of school.
Yeah, I never saw that picture.
The morning that then the next morning sends the message about the blood being on your hands. On August the 28th. That's the same day as the text about voices and teachers out to get him.
Yep, I've never seen that picture either.
And on Labor Day. Wait a minute, Labor Day? That's a holiday. You're home that day.
Correct. Never saw this picture.
Yeah. Now you knew he was violent. You believed he needed inpatient psychiatric treatment. You knew he was paranoid about his teacher. You knew he was violently opposed to going to school. But you gave him a gun and you never restricted his access to it, did you?
No, sir.
Which one is it? 53? Shady Mark stick to 151. You recognize this.
I do.
You know what that is?
I do.
What is that?
It's a gun lock for my Glock.
No. The gun lock for your Glock. The State's Exhibit 148. This is the one
Okay.
for the Glock.
All right. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. That
Right.
came free with the gun, didn't it?
It did.
This one. This one was the one found in Colt's closet. This came free with his gun, didn't it?
I don't believe so. I don't think I got any gun locks with any of the long rifles I purchased.
Oh, so you purchased this separately?
Whose?
This.
No, I had one prior from another handgun that I bought.
And you let Colt have it?
I didn't give it to him directly. No.
It was in his closet.
If that's where it was found, yes,
You
sir.
know how these work.
I do.
And you don't need to buy these from Amazon.
No.
They were already in the house.
They were.
They had always been in the house.